Okay. Okay, I'm live now. Apologies for being 20 minutes late. I got myself in a project, and I think I probably didn't give myself enough time to actually complete it. I'm kind of, if you can tell, I'm kind of redoing my whole overlay here, and I'm kind of redoing the way I do the thumbnails in more of a vector style than just trying to put different like photographs together like I was doing before. It'll make it more customizable for me, but I there's a lot of like pre-work that you have to do, and I probably shouldn't have done that right before I started a game. But that's what happened. So apologies about that. But we're here now. We're definitely here now. And looks like the Broncos have taken the early lead. Taron Johnson of the Bills just like had a head-on like crown of the head type of collision, and he's down injured right now. There's a big pause in the middle of the game. He is walking off now though, so that's good. So hopefully he's going to be okay. But I would imagine he's probably got a pretty not great concussion. But anyway, Richard, thanks for showing up. And then the people who show up in the future, thanks for showing up. The Bills defense looks like it's doing better on this drive. It's currently 3rd and 6 with 6:19 left to go in the first quarter. So yeah, I actually am predicting the Broncos to win this game. So far it looks like I'm not too far off. All right, Bo Nix takes the shotgun snap. He's going to roll back. He's got pretty good protection. That might be part of what's going on here. He's going to try to scramble, though, and literally nothing. I don't know what he was really doing there. He ends up getting, I think, technically sacked for about like a half a yard because he gets run out of bounds. And yeah, nothing there for the Broncos, so they're going to have to punt. So, good to see from the Bills' perspective. Good to see that they were able to stop him on that drive. Looks like the first drive, we had... hold on. Here's the punt. Going to be caught around the 11-yard line. He's going to get out of one tackle, pick up about 3 yards there, so it's going to be about the 14-yard line where the Bills are going to get the ball. So it looks like there was a... there's a 43-yard pass from Bo Nix. So it was really just a busted play. It looks like the Bills defense was doing okay on that first drive. Almost had a 3-and-out to start the game. But they let two big plays go. The first one was a 19-yard catch to Cortland Sutton to get out of 3rd and 8. And then the next one was on 2nd and 4, and Bo Nix found Franklin for a 43-yard touchdown. So pretty big there. So I don't know how sustainable that is, but it looks like their defense did pretty well. They bent but didn't break. So I mean, perhaps they could do that again on this drive. But Broncos offense, I think, is going to need to be more efficient to pull off the win here today. All right. Josh Allen stepping up in the pocket. He's going to throw it short, and that is caught by his tight end, Dalton Kincaid, for about a 6-yard gain. Went to check Grossi and said it was already 8 minutes into the first quarter. Checked to see if you were live, and you weren't. Was wondering, but that's my answer. Yeah. I just I mistimed getting prepared for this stream. I really should have waited until like the next stream probably to try to do all the fancy stuff, but I got involved in it. It's just like once you get kind of involved, you can't stop. Big run there by the Bills. About a 16-yard gain. Let me go ahead and make sure I get my stuff here right. Nothing really worth reacting to so far. So I mean, it's not like I missed anything big, but I definitely need to be more up on the up and up on it. So my bad. So it's currently 7-3, 4:17 left to go in the first quarter. It's going to be another run up the middle. And he's just dragging all the Broncos players with him. He gets hit and drags the Broncos players for like 11 yards. Holy crap, man. Ty Johnson, the running back. I'm not even like... Yeah, he gets hit by Jones, and then like 4 more Broncos players come to try to tackle him, and nobody can. Jeez, man. Like, I think the Bengals tackling is bad. Holy crap. PJ Locke's just back there just kind of like, assumed that they were going to tackle him, and they didn't. All right, it's going to be another run, and this one they actually do tackle him for, and there also is a flag on the play. So it was a, see if I can find the run. It's not showing up for some reason. All right, so after all of that, it's going to be 2nd and 7. Oh, it's because I'm on the wrong thing. It was an 11-yard run, not quite as long. Oh no, it was a 16-yard run. Okay, I was right. That was James Cook, not Ty Johnson, who did that. So it was Ty Johnson on the previous play. But it was James Cook who had the 16-yard crazy, like just pulling everybody along with him run. So now, after all that, 2nd and 7. And Josh Allen's in the shotgun formation. Looks like I'm thinking there's a false start there. Yeah, by number 4 there in the backfield. Yeah, he's just like, I don't know why he's moving. That was a rookie mistake. That was James Cook. That was a rookie mistake by a 3rd-year player. I don't know what you're doing there. Houday, rooting for the Bills because I think they have a better chance of beating the Cheats. Yeah. I would love to see, like, this particular... I'm not the biggest fan of Sean Payton, but other than that, I kind of respect this Broncos squad. So I wouldn't mind seeing the Broncos go all the way, and I think they could. They almost beat the Chiefs. Again, Chiefs, I keep accidentally saying it, guys. Anyway, 2nd and 12, Josh Allen scrambling around the backfield, and he's going to try to... he's going to run for it after making a few guys miss, and he actually ends up getting about 10 yards there. 7 yards. So it's going to be 3rd and 5 now after all that. Interesting run there by Josh Allen. I think the Broncos could beat... I think, honestly, anybody could beat the Chiefs. They're obviously they have the record they have, but how much of their record this year has just really been a lot of luck, and I'm not gonna say it was definitely the refs cheating for them, but it's actually gonna be 3rd and 3 after that run. But the Chiefs look like really vulnerable, like a lot more vulnerable than they normally do. So I don't know. Obviously they could win. They're the freaking Chiefs, and they just... Josh Allen keeps it himself, and he gets past the first line and manages to bowl his way forward for a first down, about a 5-yard gain there. They have an 0-3 record in the playoffs against the Chiefs, so not likely. That's well, I don't think that really matters that much. Maybe they're in Josh Allen's head a little bit, but at some point the record's got to break, right? We went... what was it, 0 I think we were 3-0 against the Chiefs until we met them in the AFC Championship one year, and then so much for that record. So I wouldn't necessarily, that could just mean they're due for a win. All right, Josh Allen's got to dirt it after getting just a bum rush there. The protection just completely broke down. I'd be cool with whoever's winning. I think I would prefer to see the Broncos win than the Bills. Like I said, I didn't really like the Broncos during the Peyton Manning era, but I don't know. I kind of respect them with Bo Nix. Plus, they gave us an all-time game between the Bengals and Broncos that ended up not mattering all that much, which is kind of annoying. But it felt like it mattered in the moment, right? So I kind of respect the Broncos, but I also respect the Bills too. All right, Josh Allen throws over the middle, and that is caught. I think it's Keon Coleman. Yeah, Keon Coleman. He tries to get shifty and get out of some of the way of the tacklers there, but he's not able to actually pick up that much extra, and it's going to be 3rd and 5 after all that. I think I'm looking at the current squads. I think the Bills have a better chance than the Broncos. Well, the Bills are, I think, more talented than the Broncos. I think they're better coached and, well, yeah, I don't know. Josh Allen, shotgun snap. He's going to throw over the middle. It's caught, and that is going to be for a first down. Josh Allen's dealing out there. It's Curtis Samuel on the catch, who I forgot was on the Bills. Has he always been on the Bills? No, he hasn't always been on the Bills. How long has he been on the Bills? Just this year. Okay, that's probably why I forgot he's on the Bills. Yeah, he previously of the Commanders and early on with the Panthers. Totally forgot he was on the Bills. So, interesting. But yeah, looks like that's actually going to be the end of the first quarter. So, I'm going to be here for all the rest of the quarters. Don't worry, guys. But yeah, the Bills are driving right now, and the Broncos don't seem to really have the ability to consistently stop them. I think they could maybe hold them to another field goal here the way they're playing, but they're going to have to actually get off the field on 3rd down. I don't know. Based off of the way the defense is going on this drive, probably not going to happen. But you never know. So as far as these two teams go, I obviously the Bills have a better chance than the Broncos. But I think it'd be pretty fun to, I mean, like, as much as I've, like, railed against the 7-seed format, for basically ever since they started it, I wouldn't mind seeing a 7-seed, like, you know, make something out of nothing, you know, that would be kind of fun. My issue is it feels like it kind of like takes away from the quality of playoff football to have too many teams in there if the 7th seed wasn't necessarily ready to get in, which has generally been the case. Plus, it's like if you're gonna expand to 7 seeds, I think okay, but you also need to expand the NFL itself if you're gonna do that, because it kind of devalues what it even means to make the playoffs if like half the teams in the NFL are making it. But at the same time, if the 7 seeds start making some noise, then I guess I'll come around on it, because at least it does make for more interesting football. I'm skeptical about if that's gonna happen, but at some point it's probably gotta happen, right? They're not changing the 7-seed format, so at some point somebody's gonna do something good. Now, is that gonna be the Broncos? Doubt it. No, I'm sorry. I'm thinking Packers. Is it gonna be the Packers? I doubt it. They did it against the Cowboys last year, to be fair, but then they also went to the 49ers and did not do as well. I think it could be the Broncos, though. I think the Broncos are kind of underrated, and I think we've been seeing Bo Nix very much be a rookie, but now he's got a full year of at least regular season football under his belt, and I think it's possible you could see a better version of Bo Nix than at least you'd see throughout the aggregate of everything that you put together in the regular season. So we'll see. But I mean, I definitely think that the Bills could be, maybe your best shot to take down the Chiefs. And frankly, I'd rather either of these two teams than the Ravens. I'd almost rather the Chiefs than the Ravens, frankly. All right, it's going to be a handoff to James Cook there, and he picks up about 5 yards. 5 yards. It's going to be 2nd and 5. Straight up the middle, once again, able to dance around and create a little bit of something out of nothing. It doesn't look like the run blocking is terribly phenomenal for the Bills right now, but the runners themselves are doing a really good job of getting out of... from what I was seeing earlier, I know I haven't streamed anything as far as the Broncos, much as far as the Broncos offense goes so far. But from what I saw from the Broncos offense earlier while I was not streaming, the running game didn't look that spectacular. All right. So speaking of less spectacular runs, that's going to be a 2-yard run on 2nd down. And, it's still going to be 3rd and 3, so it'll be okay. But the Broncos actually did a pretty good job of stopping him there. Tried to run up the middle, and the Broncos defense, caught him in the net, and he wasn't able to go anywhere there. Expanding the NFL would make the shortage of quality OL players even worse than it is now. I disagree with that, stranger. I genuinely disagree with that. I think it might even it out a little bit more. 3rd and 3. And Josh Allen takes a timeout. Okay, so as far as expanding the shortage, or as far as making the shortage of quality OL players even worse than it is now, I don't know if I necessarily agree with that. I mean, maybe temporarily in the short run, but that wouldn't that would eventually that's going to be adjusted for. It's the same thing with quality pass rushers. For a long time in the NFL was lacking quality pass rushers, and you weren't seeing quite as strong of a performance by the NFL as far as pass rush goes. And just all of a sudden lately, it seems like pass rush has really become something that there's a lot more good pass rushers in the NFL than there used to be. Now, the Bengals only have one of them, it seems, but I mean, every year there's some guy who's coming out who's just like a insane level pass rusher, and it didn't used to be that way. So I feel like the offensive line will eventually adjust. Josh Allen is just going to take that ball himself, and that was never they didn't even pretend on that play. They did. The Broncos still, I think, faked themselves out because half of them went for the running back. But Josh Allen didn't even fake it to the running back. So I'm not really sure. That was a terrible play by the Broncos defense. I've got a video coming out hopefully tomorrow morning about who I think should be the Bengals' new defensive coordinator. And, spoiler alert, but I really like Jim Leonard of the Broncos. He's a guy I talk about. So I guess we'll see here. But then again, I think he's the passing game coordinator. By the way, Bills got a touchdown. So Bills are in the end zone once again through the running game. Wow. Okay. But yeah, Jim Leonard, I believe he's the passing game coordinator for the Broncos defense. So the poor run stopping here is, I guess, not his fault, but although interesting news, and this isn't in my video, so it might feel a bit outdated, but I have been hearing lately that the Bengals are really interested in Matt Eberflus. Zach Taylor in particular. I don't know if they've interviewed him yet, but it sounds like that's somebody that they might potentially be targeting, which would be really cool. Let's see. I don't even know that he's he just got fired by the Bears, so I don't know. I would think if the Bengals like him that much, I don't know why they haven't just announced the hiring yet. Yeah. Matt Eberflus would be, in my opinion, a phenomenal defensive coordinator to bring on because, he's got experience as a head coach. And he can, help Zach out with a few more things than Lou was able to help out with. Plus, his scheme-wise, Matt Eberflus, from a defensive perspective, has always been, I feel, really talented. That's how he got the job as the Bears head coach in the first place. Didn't really seem to do a very good job of developing offensive players as much, which I think is why he ended up getting the boot in Chicago. But when the Bears hired him, I thought it was a pretty good hire because of what you saw from him as, like I said, his ability to scheme up certain defensive looks and stuff like that. But in my video, I think I actually am saying that, this is before I know that the Bengals are even interested in Matt Eberflus. And if it's too obvious, I might have to go back and re-record that, which would be unfortunate. But, point being that I was already looking at Matt Eberflus as I think that would be a great guy to bring on. It sounds like the Bengals might be interested, so I'd be so down for Matt Eberflus, and it would be a going into this season. I think last season a dream scenario would be to end up with Matt to move on from Lou. First of all, I didn't like Lou going out of last year either. I mean it's been a while. I've been pretty low on Lou Anarumo since like the Super Bowl run because like I mean, and I was pretty low before the Super Bowl run. It was during the Super Bowl run I was like, okay, interesting. And then you go into 2022 and the defense just isn't performing as well, and I'm like, okay, we're back to the old Lou I see. And so now we got an opening, and Matt Eberflus, I'd be so down for that. As long as it's not the Cheats or Ratbirds, I'll be happy. Well, now that the Steelers are out, I agree. I'd be cool with anybody. I think I would. I mean, like just to be nitpicky for me, just because I'm like 90% of what I care about outside of the Bengals is just operating off of spite. Honestly, I know I'm just gonna be honest with you about that one. But as far as teams left, I think. Really, most NFC teams would be fine to me. The one thing is like the Lions. I know everybody's all about the Lions, but for me, I'm just like, man, if the Lions win a Super Bowl before us, what does that say about us? You know? I mean, at the same time, it's not like if the Lions win, I guess that's definitely better than the Chiefs, right? But God, if the Lions win a Super Bowl before we do, that just says something right there. So, and then as far as the AFC goes, obviously between these two teams, I'd be okay. Maybe, I think I'd prefer the Broncos, to the Bills, but only slightly, and that's literally just because, like, if Josh Allen wins a Super Bowl before Joe Burrow, then all the Josh Allen stands are never going to shut up until Joe Burrow wins a Super Bowl. But I think I'd rather that than Patrick Mahomes getting another one. Like, I mean, that man needs to be brought back down to earth, honestly. Like I'm serious. That's going to be a nice run there by the Broncos, about 8 yards, and he just barely the Bills just barely bring him down before he cuts it loose. Good. I think it was actually Johnson who went off the field earlier with what appeared to be a concussion. He was the one who made that tackle, so good to see him back in there. So yeah, as far as the AFC goes, Broncos, Bills, I'd be fine with either one of them. All right, so it's going to be a handoff to whoever's in the fullback position there. It's going to be a little bit of a reverse. And that was Marvin Mims. He's going to pick up the first down with a nice little jet sweep there. I don't want the Texans to win the Super Bowl. And the reason, and this is pure spite, pure pettiness, it's just a me thing. But the reason I don't want the Texans to win a Super Bowl is because, like, I mean, C.J. Stroud is like the only good quarterback to ever come out of Ohio State, and I just really don't need him to be better than he already is, you know? But again, better than the Chiefs? Absolutely. Bo Nix rolls back. He's going to throw, and that's, off the hands of Cortland Sutton. And he's lucky that the Bills' safety in the backfield there did not have a little bit better positioning and maybe a little bit more heads up, because that flew dangerously behind him, and if he was in a better position, that maybe could have been intercepted. But let's see here. Maybe I'm wrong. Here's another view of it. Oh, yeah, no. I mean, that was real close. It went right behind him, and a little bit better positioning and heads up by that Bills safety. He probably could have picked that off. Broncos get away with one there. All right, 2nd and 10. Bo Nix is going to motion a man to his right, and then it's going to be a handoff to that side as well. Not really a whole lot there. Runs right into defenders and picks up. Might have gotten 2 there. Might be even. Oh, it might be more even, but it will be a lower average quality. If there were enough quality OL players now, we'd have as many bad OLs. There's only so many 300-plus pound men who are athletic. Well, you say that, but then there will just be, eventually that will even out. I mean, like, the NFL didn't used to have 32 teams, right? Like, I mean, I'm sure people said that at the time. They're like, oh, well, if you expand the NFL, isn't that going to create a shortage of talent? Like, it'll adjust. Trust me, it'll be fine. Bo Nix is going to roll out to his right. He's going to throw, and that is, is that intercepted? Looked like it might have hit the ground, but I think they're saying it did hit the ground. Okay. Almost. That was a bad pass, but that would have been an incredible diving interception there by the Bills. Yeah, that definitely hit the ground. Definitely hit the ground. No question. It didn't even really come close. And he did a good job of catching it on the ricochet, but that's not how football works. So, it would even out stranger. Oh, it's gonna be a fake. The Broncos, they throw it, and it's caught by Marvin Mims, thrown by the punter, and that is a first down for the Broncos on the fake. Wow, that I did not see that. Well, obviously you never see a fake punt coming. Wow, that was a good throw too by the punter, because there was a Bills guy in the area, and he threw it to the exact right spot. I mean, it wasn't like phenomenally great coverage or anything, but it was like better coverage. He had to throw that in the right spot to Marvin Mims. Good catch by Marvin Mims to come down with that too. But man, he would have had to. Yeah, that was not the easiest throw in the world by the punter there. All right, so Williams going to take the run, and he's going to get about 6 yards. The Bills look a little shell-shocked after that. Javonte Williams. I don't know why I couldn't think of his first name. Yeah. Anyway, as far as the OL problem goes, I get that, but you would also distribute defensive line talent as well. And trust me, there aren't as many, in the NFL, there are a lot of not as great pass rushers too. So, I think it would even out, I think it'd be fine. Ooh, that didn't work out as well at all. That was an attempted screen to Marvin Mims, and they end up losing about 3 yards on that play. Going to be back to the 40. It's going to be 3rd and 7 now after all that. What a fake, man. I'm still stunned by that. If they end up having to punt on this drive, that would that would suck. That would suck. That'd be a waste. 5 more yards and they probably feel good about a field goal. 7 yards and they can get a first down. We'll see though. Broncos offense does feel like it's sputtering a little bit now though. And that's why they needed the fake punt in the first place. Bonex takes the shotgun snap. He is immediately pressured. He's going to throw it up, and that was, I think, was that DeMar Hamlin? I think was the closest person to that. He just had to throw it up and pray that it didn't get intercepted. It was DeMar Hamlin, by the way. Yeah, Bonex just got, bum rushed there. Got absolutely bum rushed by Von Miller. Wow. Man, that's got to hurt if you're a Broncos fan, seeing Von Miller bum rush you like that. And now the Broncos are punting. What a shame. Hopefully, if this ends up being a touchback, that'll suck. All right, so it's going to be up and... Oh! Caught by Marvin Mims at the inch line. Wow, that punt would have bounced as a touchback, but there was enough hang time for Marvin Mims to get back there. Some absolutely stellar special teams play. No, I think it's more like the 1 yard line, not the inch line. But either way, absolutely stellar special teams play by the Broncos, and that is not the most exciting. I didn't come here to watch amazing special teams play, but you got to give credit where credit's due. And that is some amazing special teams play by the Broncos. Too bad for them, it's not going to count for any points. Josh Allen's overrated anyway. I'd pick Lamar over him next week. I think, honestly, Josh Allen and Lamar are both a bit overrated. Now stick with me for a second, because what I mean is the definition of the word overrated. I don't think Lamar Jackson is as unstoppable as people like to act like he is sometimes. Hell, he almost choked against the Steelers yesterday. I honestly, if the Steelers that almost ended up, I almost kind of ended up regretting the fact that I didn't stream that game. I just thought Broncos Bills would be a more interesting game, which it has turned out to be so far. But since the Bengals aren't in, I'm not really too worried about it's not necessarily going to be AFC. I had Who was it? Who was it who messaged me on Twitter? Somebody messaged me on Twitter, asking me why I wasn't streaming yesterday. I think was that you, Richard? It was Rich W on Twitter. I don't know if that's you or not. It's probably Richard Bush. Oh, because that was you, Richard. You were asking me why I wasn't streaming, the divisional round. I don't really care that much, and also like I'm glad the Steelers lost, but unfortunately that also means the Ravens win. So it's not like I'm dying to. Like, I'm happy coming out of that game either way. Like, I mean, hell, had the Steelers won, I was wanting the Ravens to win, but if the Steelers had won, then that's still funny. It's like you still get that, like, back and forth there. Like, it's funny that the Ravens are still playoff choke artists, but now the Steelers have won a playoff game, and we got to contend with that, and that's annoying. And if they can beat the Ravens, they can beat anybody. And you just, but luckily they sucked really badly, and they almost kind of had a little comeback there, which might have been good material for the channel as far as like live streaming and reactions and stuff. But I don't know. I was just personally more interested in this Broncos Bills game. So far, it has been quite interesting. But yeah, this is primarily, this is. I don't know. I don't even know how to define this channel. It's really primarily an NFL channel, but I'm a Bengals fan, so like I mainly do Bengals streams. But in the playoffs, if the Bengals aren't in it, I'm really just gonna pick, I think, the most interesting games of the week. One, maybe two. This week it ended up being one just because of my schedule. Like I'm not gonna later. All right, there is a flag. And the Broncos are pointing at the Bills, but the Bills are pointing at the Broncos. So I have no idea what's going on. Be funny if this was a false start, though. I hope it is, actually. False start on the Bills. Okay, that's gonna back them up a half a yard here. That's getting dangerous here. Great time management. Fair enough. You heard Vrabel is coming home. What, to the Patriots? I did not know. What's going on? As head coach? What do you know? That's a phenomenal hire. That's a phenomenal hire for the Patriots. Especially with now they got Drake May kind of coming along there at the end of the year. Hold on. Josh Allen's under center. He's going to hand the ball off, and fucking Broncos whiffed on that one. James Cook picks up about 8 yards. So they had a golden opportunity there to do something crazy. Nothing. Nope. 8 yards for James Cook. James Cook. Sorry. Yeah, didn't work out. But no, that's an amazing hire for the Patriots. Like, Patriots fans should legitimately be like maybe kind of optimistic about the future. I don't think you're going back to like Tom Brady, Bill Belichick, right? But anyway, 2nd and 1. Josh Allen's going to hand the ball off. James Cook. That time, I think they might have stopped. They might have given him like maybe a quarter of a yard or something like that. And they did well that time. But damn, where was that on the last play, right? And now it's going to be like third and inches, basically. All right, Josh Allen. They're going to do a tush push. Yep, and nope. The Broncos actually initially did stop him, but then they gave. The Broncos defense, that's the second time the Broncos defense has just been pushed around by the Bills offense. Thinking back to that James Cook run from earlier, the Bills just seem to be bigger, stronger entirely, and they're pushing them around like a bunch of high schoolers out there. That's rough. This allegedly vaunted Broncos defense just not looking too vaunted right now. It is the pass game coordinator, by the way, Jim Leonard. So we're going to see what they do here, and it's going to be a short pass. It's going to be a short dump-off pass there to from Josh Allen to Curtis Samuel. And got a few yards out of that, so it worked out okay for him. But it does look like the secondary is covering well, so that's good, at least for my theory about Jim Leonard. But it also kind of doesn't matter though, because like Look, if Zach likes Matt Eberflus, Bengals fans are really going to be excited about Matt Eberflus, and I guarantee you, like, I'd almost be willing to bet money that if Zach actually genuinely likes Matt Eberflus, the Bengals are probably going to hire him. So I'm sitting here looking at Jim Leonard, but if Zach likes Matt Eberflus, he's going to be the DC, almost certainly. And I'm fine with that too. I'm not like, I actually think I like Eberflus better than Leonard. I just, Leonard was more of like a, if they if they're trying to go for like the young guy who has potential route, which just kind of seems to be their general MO when it comes to hiring assistant coaches. But no, Eberflus would be a great hire. Eberflus would be a phenomenal hire. 3rd and 1. Josh Allen's going to fake the handoff that time, and he's got pressure, but he gets does the juke and he gets himself a first down. Broncos defense is not doing well against the run today at all. They're doing okay against the pass, but it doesn't really matter because the Bills are killing them on the ground. We need Ben Johnson for offensive coordinator, and then we're cooking. Well, I mean, that would be a really good hire for offensive coordinator. But I think you're already cooking. You hired Mike Vrabel. You got Drake May playing better. I mean, I think, like I said, I don't know if y'all are going to go win the Super Bowl anytime soon, but I would say that, you're definitely putting together a competitive team right now, which is not where you were before. All right, Josh Allen's going to throw that quick out route to Amari Cooper, and it's going to be about a 5-yard gain there. Bills would be my pick of the remaining teams. So that is like who you're rooting for. I mean, I'm rooting for an NFC team to win, honestly. Any NFC team, I don't care. I mean, like, literally any NFC team I'd be fine with. Maybe there'd be a little bit of trepidation about the Commanders winning just because, like, again, comparing it to Joe Burrow, like, I don't necessarily want Jaden Daniels to win one before Joe Burrow does, but, I'd again, rather that than pretty much any AFC team. All right, James Cook, whoo, just cutting through that Broncos defense like butter. Picks up like 7 yards, and that's going to be another first down. Jeez. Yeah, if that's the way the rest of this game's going to go, then the Broncos are not going to be in for a good time. It will adjust to a lower average. I want a better OL, not a worse one. Well, for the Bengals, maybe you do, but I don't think it'll adjust to a lower average necessarily. I think it'll, and even if it does, it'll be even throughout, the NFL as much as it ever is even, right? Like it's not like it's going to disproportionately affect certain teams over others, other than the ones that are already suffering from not being able to develop offensive line talent. All right, it's going to be another run for the Bills and only a couple yards on that one. Great special teams play. Yeah, that fake punt was crazy. Mikey got pranked on my stream last night. How'd that go? Got pranked on your stream? How'd that go? I saw you were streaming. I was thinking about popping in, but I had a lot to do last night. That's part of why I was late getting on today, is because I had a lot to do today, too. And I still have a lot to do today. Busy weekend. Josh Allen takes a shotgun snap, but looks like it's going to be a false start by the Bills. John says, kitty goes meow, go Broncos. Well, the kitty did not go meow, unfortunately. The only cat team left, I think the only cat team left, right? The Lions, only cat team left. So that's the only kitty currently in the game. And they... Oh, okay. The Vikings and Rams play on Monday night. Josh Allen goes down in the backfield. There you go. That was Zach Allen with the sack. But, I mean, that right there is why I'm saying, like, if it ain't Matt Eberflus, I'd love to see Jim Leonard get a shot. Because he seems to, everything the Broncos do as far as passing game defense goes, seems to be pretty damn good. And they also led the league in sacks, too. As a team, as opposed to the Bengals, who were like 25th in sacks, even though Trey Hendrickson individually led the NFL in sacks. That's how bad the rest of our pass rush was. Go Chiefs. You root for who you want to, John. I know, but I also understand, local team and everything like that. What if you hire Dennis Allen at DC? No, no. Honestly, Mikey, a lot of Bengals fans been talking about him. No, nope. I don't want. Nope, nope. No, thank you. I'm good. I'm good on Dennis Allen. And you'll see in my video that's coming out how I feel about Dennis Allen. A lot of Bengals fans been talking about him, and I keep trying to tell people like, stop it. No, no Dennis Allen. No, thank you. And I suppose I'd rather have him as a DC than a head coach, but still, I'm not Dennis Allen's biggest fan lately. 3rd and 21 for the Bills now. Josh Allen's going to roll back. He's going to throw over the middle, and I think that's Khalil Shakir catches it. It'll be about a 10, 11-yard game, but obviously nowhere near enough for a first down. So they're going to have to punt now. Broncos defense holds. Rooting for the Commanders, but my Super Bowl pick is Ravens over Eagles. No. No. I wouldn't mind seeing the Eagles win, honestly. I'm cool with the Eagles winning another Super Bowl. Jalen Hurts is that good, I think Jalen Hurts is one of the most underrated quarterbacks in the NFL. People act like, people always forget about him when they're talking about the best quarterbacks in the NFL. Not always, but I feel like a lot of fans, especially lately, have been forgetting about Jalen Hurts when they talk about these guys. And I think Jalen Hurts is better than that. So I think if Jalen Hurts wins the Super Bowl, people might stop forgetting about him so much. So I wouldn't mind seeing the Eagles win, but not the Ravens. No. Lamar Jackson doesn't need to be any more overrated than he already is. Come on. We don't need that. They lucked out and got the Steelers in the first round. They go play a real team next week and lose. That'll be funny. Who are they playing next week? I guess it'll depend on this game. So did my stream just fucking go out? Okay, back now. No, stop it! Why did it go? What? Annoying. Okay, let's see. I think I can get an interactive thing here. Let's see, football, NFL, 2024 season. Okay, whatever. And so wild card round. Here we go. All right, so next week. Okay, so you got Bills, Broncos, you got all these NFC games. Obviously, we don't care about any of the NFC games for what's going on right now. Got 2 NFC games tonight, and then you got the third one tomorrow night, so that'll be interesting. It'd be interesting just as far as what I'm trying to speculate here right now. It doesn't really matter. So if the Broncos win tonight, then next week for the AFC will be Texans at Ravens, and Ravens will probably win that one, honestly. I don't know. Maybe the Texans will come alive. That'd be kind of cool, but probably not. And then Broncos at Chiefs, which, whew. And then if the Bills win, then the Bills will host the Ravens? No, that's not right. That's not right. Is that right? No, I guess that is right. Yeah, okay. I'm not thinking. Okay, so the Bills will host the Ravens. So I think the Ravens are rooting hard for the Broncos right now, because if the Broncos win, then they get the Texans next week. But if the Bills win, they have to play the Bills next week, and I don't think the Ravens get past the Bills. I just don't. Maybe they get past the Texans. Big hit on the punt return there, and Marvin Mims should have honestly just fair caught that, but he didn't, and he tried to turn around and just got walloped, absolutely walloped by Hollins there. Didn't work out at all. There's a flag now. There might have been a brawl after that. I don't think the Broncos liked the way that Marvin Mims got hit that hard. Definitely a lot of people out on the field, so let's see what's going on. But yeah, so this game will determine next week's matchups, and like I said, the Ravens are definitely rooting for the Broncos tonight. Personal foul on the return team. Yep, that's about what I expected. I didn't see what happened, but I'm imagining the Broncos probably retaliated after that hit. But it was a pretty clean hit, so the refs are gonna call the Broncos for that every time. So yeah. And then, so I mean, the seeding for next week's going to be interesting, right? Obviously, we have no idea what's going to happen. I'm guessing probably it's going to be Eagles over Packers. Buccaneers Commanders is interesting. That one could go either way. I'm gonna go with my gut and go with the home team there. Say the Buccaneers win that. And then Vikings probably over Rams. So I'm guessing next week's schedule will be Eagles hosting the Buccaneers and the Lions hosting the Vikings, which that'd be an interesting game. Like, I mean, they just played for the, I don't know how interesting that would be, because didn't the Lions just, like, slaughtered them in, like, week 18, right? Like, it wasn't a close game, as I recall. So maybe it wouldn't be that interesting to have that matchup. But it would be, from like a rivalry perspective, it'd be interesting. Let's see, week 18. Am I right about that? Yeah, the Lions beat them 31-9, so, whew. Now, so I guess the Vikings, if the Vikings beat the Rams, which I think they probably will, then they'd be rooting for another wild card team to make it, so they don't have to play the Lions the following week. At some point, they're going to have to go through the Lions, but they'd probably like to get a little bit further before having to play them. So, I mean, their best bet is probably the Commanders beating the Buccaneers, and then in that case, the Vikings go to the Eagles, and then the Commanders would go to the Lions. So, that might be interesting. But we'll see everything that happens. Right now, we don't quite know. Allen on Allen crime, that sure was, stranger. That's an interesting way of putting it. You heard Dennis Allen said something delusional and he's not even here? No, I didn't. I don't keep up with, like, Saints drama, Mikey. Why don't you enlighten us? What did he say? Rest of the Bengals pass rush? What rest of the Bengals pass rush? Well, there are, I don't know if you can tell. Sometimes it's hard for me to tell. But there are technically... on every play, there's, other than Trey Hendrickson, there's usually at least 2 or 3, sometimes 4 other guys rushing the passer. I know you can never tell, unless Mike Hilton's rushing the passer. Sometimes he, well, actually, really, when any defensive back is rushing the passer, you tend to notice them. The Bengals' defensive backs are pretty good at rushing the passer. But yeah, as far as on the defensive line goes, I know it's always easy to tell, but there are other guys on the team than Trey Hendrickson. They're all just really bad at rushing the passer, by comparison, or really at all, honestly. 1st and 10, Bo Nix, he's going to throw over the middle, and that is caught by Javonte Williams. And he bobbled a little bit, and might have been able to stay on his feet if he didn't, but either way, it's a catch, and it's going to be 2nd and 3. There's going to be a hurry up after that. The Broncos just trying to get the next play off. And they do. Bo Nix is going to scramble out to his right. He's going to throw, and that's caught by, I believe, the tight end there. He's not able to get turned back around, though, and get across the first down marker. So that didn't quite do what they wanted to do there. 85. That's Lucas Krull. Second-year tight end out of Pittsburgh. All right. So 3rd and 1 now. Bo Nix. And he's just going to quarterback sneaking himself, and he got it. Pretty easy. 1st down, Broncos. By the way, Kyle, sorry I couldn't respond to your email right away. Dude, you're fine, Mikey. You don't need to respond to it right away. That's what email's for. I mean, I think I've gone a couple days without responding to some of your emails, so don't worry about it. Like we communicate when we have the ability, but, I'll get back to you when I can. You didn't go out for me? Huh? Did I do something to you? Williams destroyed that return. He sure did. That was... And the Broncos players didn't seem to like it either. I wouldn't. A bit of extracurricular, yep, after the play. Always get the second guy. Buccaneers. I'd like to see the Buccaneers win. Baker Mayfield. That would be such a... Honestly, I might be rooting for that, honestly. Like, sticking it to the Browns like that. You know, it's not like the Browns need to be stuck at 2 more, but, I mean, you know, with the rivalry, it's always just fun to see them, like, twitch. Partially because it means that, you know, it could that we don't have it the absolute worst, you know? Bo Nix rolls back. He's going to roll out to his left now, and he's just going to run it. And he's got plenty of room, and he slides and picks up the first down after about a 12-yard pickup. Vikings for sure. Yeah, dude, any NFC team I'd be fine with. Maybe not the Rams. I'm still a little salty at them from beating us in the Super Bowl, but I'm sure you don't want to see the Rams win either, John. 1st and 10. It's going to be a pump fake from Bo Nix, and then he's going to throw, and that's caught. Was he in bounds? Looks like the ref says he was. There was nobody around him, so he really didn't have any excuse to not be in bounds. Yep, yeah, he got that toe drag. He's good. He said he didn't fail, but... Yeah, that toe's still down. That was closer than it really needed to be. All right, 1st and 10. Bo Nix rolls back. He's going to throw. It's, what? What the hell was that? Just threw it into the dirt. Yeah, he had an open guy, too. And he's yelling at his receiver, but, like, bro, if you didn't even look where you were throwing, that's kind of your fault. Maybe the receiver's not where you thought he was going to be, but that's kind of your fault in that scenario. I mean, he had his guy beat. Like, he did his job. 2nd and 10. Nix rolls back. And he's going to step up in the pocket. He's going to throw on the run. And he's got 17 there, but it's too far. And he tried to get it with one hand, but could not. There's a flag on the play, too. 1st round playoff Darnold, who's overrated, versus experienced Rams in the playoffs. That's a no-brainer. Yeah, I don't know. Holding on the Bills. So, what ended up being a pretty good play ends up being wiped out by a holding call. Rough. Oh yeah, he was mugging him back there too. No question. All right. Well, Broncos got 1st and 10. Only 15 seconds left in the second quarter though, so they gotta be figuring out here pretty soon what they're gonna do. Now, knowing Sean Payton, I'm guessing he's probably just gonna try to get in a field goal range here and be a little more conservative about it. They do have one timeout left, so they probably have an opportunity. They can throw over the middle here and probably take a timeout and be okay, but they're going to want to gain a lot of yards on this play. And the Bills are taking timeout now. Obviously, the clock stopped, so they have there's no reason not to. Well, I know Darnold's are overrated. Yeah, Darnold's a little overrated, but he's also kind of underrated too. Like, people still think of, I think, Sam Darnold as the guy who was playing on the Jets, who was getting screwed over by being on the Jets. And he's been better than that ever since. So, I mean, yeah, maybe a little overrated, but I also think also kind of underrated as well. And then experienced Rams in the playoffs, kind of. But I mean, that Rams team that won the Super Bowl, like, I mean, that's mostly gone by now. Matt Stafford is about it. And I mean, Matt Stafford had that one run, and other than that, like, I wouldn't say he's that experienced when it comes to the playoffs. He played for the Lions, for Christ's sake. 1st and 10, Bo Nix. Takes the shotgun snap. Going to roll out to his right. And he's going to throw, and that's caught. And they got in field goal range. There you go. 6 seconds left, 5. And as 5 is where they take the timeout. So the Broncos... well, no, he got out of bounds. So they still got a timeout. They might actually... 5 seconds left. You could... I don't know. 5 seconds might be too long. You might just take the field goal here, honestly. Yeah, great catch by him there. To also just carry it all the way out of bounds. I think that was Cortland Sutton, by the way. Did I say Marvin Mims? I think it was Cortland Sutton. Yeah, it was. Yeah, they're just bringing the field goal unit out here because 5 seconds left. Maybe that's enough time for a quick shot at the end zone, and you got a timeout either way. But that I mean, you're really risking it, and when you got a makeable field goal here, 50 yards, it's no gimme, but it's makeable. All right, kick is up, and that's it doinks, and oh no, he missed it. It looked like it was just barely gonna go in, but it trailed off just enough, and it doinked, and the Broncos missed the field goal. All right, we're going into halftime with a 7-10 score. Could have been tied. No such luck. Man, that's rough. Like I said, it's no gimme. No gimme. Like, I mean, those 50-plus yarders, they're not easy. You know, I mean, like, we're used to people making it in the NFL these days, but it's not easy. Willie Lutz is their kicker. I know Mikey's got some experience with Willie Lutz as a kicker. Lou insisted on playing an injured Hubbard over young pass rushers. That and how long it took Lou to adjust his talent cost him the job. Yes. And he's been doing that for years, stranger. He's been preferring his guys to get in there over guys who were playing better, frankly. Like, the fact that Jordan Battle, like, I think he might have ruined Jordan Battle's development. Because, like, I kind of see, like, Jordan Battle definitely got off to a slow start at the beginning of the year, so I kind of see where Lou was coming from a little bit with that one. But, like, if he had gotten off to that slow start at the beginning of the season, then it wouldn't have been as slow later in the season, and he might have been, he almost certainly would have been better in there than Von Bell, the way Von Bell played this year. So I mean, there's that. There's the whole Jordan Battle thing. There's like, you know, like, I mean, he insisted, like you said, he insisted on playing an injured Sam Hubbard over developing Myles Murphy. The Bengals took Myles Murphy in the first round, y'all, and Lou Anarumo did not really develop him at all. Cam Taylor-Britt's regression too. DJ Turner kind of regressed, you know, maybe not as sharply as Cam Taylor-Britt, but it's just like the development of the young guys just really wasn't there. It's like you're pretty much, basically the Bengals are in a spot right now where they're relying on their veteran players like Trey Hendrickson and Jermaine Pratt, and you know, they got to have guys come in like Geno Stone. They're basically relying on the veteran guys they have on their team who are already established to just continue being at that same level, and you can't rely on that because they're not developing guys on the defense for the most part, and that was no more evident than it was this year, and that's Lou's job. That's Lou's job to develop those guys. So, you know, I mean, like, I love Jermaine Pratt, I love Logan Wilson, but those guys are not going to be everything for you forever. I love Trey I absolutely love Trey Hendrickson, but you don't know what's going to happen with him at some point. You know, we've already had one contract dispute with him, and it turned into kind of fizzling out. Nothing really happened, but, you know, you got to have these, you got to develop these guys. Joseph Osai, you know, we got him in the third round, but he was considered to be a first-round talent when we drafted him that year, and Lou got basically nothing out of him. You know, I mean, he's been here and there, but for the most part, because he's been insisting on Sam Hubbard being the guy. And Sam Hubbard has made some plays here and there, but for the most part, Lou hasn't been developing these guys. And in addition to that, I think part of the problem is Lou doesn't want to, like, isn't prepared to have new players in there. Like he's got a scheme based around players that he likes and players that he wants, and he needs the players that he's always had to make that scheme continue to work because he has no idea how to develop it. And we saw at the end of the year, Lou simplified his system and the defense started playing better, which is awesome, cool. But, like, why did it take that long? You know, and a big part of the reason, I think, is because he's forced to play some of these younger guys who he hasn't developed as much. And, like, yeah, I'm sorry that, you know, you can't do everything that you were doing before with the veteran players. But that's just how being a coach in the NFL works. You have to adapt. And Lou was just completely unadaptable. Like, you know, Like he found some, he caught lightning in a bottle in 2021 and still didn't have a great defense, but he had a defense that was good enough to complement the offense. And he caught lightning in a bottle, and then just never changed anything after that because he was trying to recapture the magic for years. And at some point, it was just I think it was just obvious that and I thought maybe the Bengals might not move on from Lou Anarumo because the defense started playing better down the stretch. But I think credit to Zach Taylor that Zach made the call. Hey, that was actually kind of an un-Bengals thing to do. Was make the statement, say, hey, I'm glad you kind of did things there at the end. And the Bengals also, I think, did the right thing by not firing Lou Anarumo mid-season because they still had a chance at the playoffs. And as long as you have a chance at the playoffs, you can't just break up the band. You got to at least see if what you got is what you got. And then you'll, and then as soon as you're out of the playoffs, which they weren't until the season was over, but as soon as you're out of the playoffs, that's when you start looking to making changes and stuff because you don't have anything really left to play for. But but the Bengals, historically, typically, if you make a good run at the end of the season, they don't they're not really going to fire you. They've been doing that for years, and that might arguably be why Zach Taylor has survived 2 years of missing the playoffs with Joe Burrow as his quarterback. But I think Zach Taylor maybe has a little bit of a different mentality, which is maybe Zach Taylor is this is a weird way to say it, I suppose. But Zach Taylor should probably be happy that Zach Taylor himself is not the general manager, and he is not the head coach under a guy like Zach Taylor who would be making those calls. Because if Zach Taylor was the GM, then the head coach probably would have been fired after this season, based off of the way that he's making statements like this. And I respect that. I really do. I think he was too nervous to make those statements early in his career, but now he's willing to make those statements, and I appreciate that. I also appreciate his practicality and not just jumping the gun and doing it too early. But I think it was the right time to fire Lou when he did. Maybe he should have done it last year, honestly. But I kind of get maybe why you want to see if maybe that was just a fluke because he was kind of getting it together and then didn't, and maybe there was a talent issue and give him one more shot, see, hey, can you get it done? And then he doesn't get it done. And then he figures it out kind of near the end of the season, but it's too little too late. If the defense had improved just one game earlier and won one of those one-score games where the offense was humming, then they would have been in the playoffs. So it's great that Lou got it together near the end of the season, but it was too late. And at that point, now the season's over, you got to look at the whole thing, and you got to say, did what you do give me confidence that next year is going to be better? I don't think it did. I think it, because you're going to have new personnel next year too. So, is Lou going to come up with a scheme and, it's not going to work, and is it going to just stick around forever? No, you got to go try to get somebody more experienced, somebody who knows what they're doing a little bit more than Lou Anarumo, who frankly was a guy who when the Bengals hired him, was the only guy who would even take the job. And that's part of why Lou Anarumo got that job. And I don't think they anticipated him having the job for very long, but then he kind of caught lightning in a bottle, and you can't fire the guy at that point. But now I think we're seeing that, Zach isn't just going to sit around and take guys who just, are standing in his way. And I like that. It's Zach gets a lot of, I think, pushback, for, not being fiery enough, not showing enough emotion and stuff like that, which is funny because he's constantly out there screaming at the refs on the sidelines. And I think he does show emotion, and there's a reason why the players like him so much. And I think this is him signaling that we're not going to take people who just aren't willing to do what it takes to be the best. And that's, I think, what he signaled to Lou Anarumo. And I respect that from Zach. I really hope they get it together next year, because if they don't, then Zach's got to go. And I don't like that because I really like Zach. I think he's got a great mindset. But at the same time, if it's not working, then, the hammer's going to drop on you too. So, we'll see. But I all of that is to say firing Lou was absolutely, unequivocally the right decision. Yep, Sutton had a good play there. Why am I lagging so much with this? Want to see the Bucks lose by 55? I'm sure you do, Mikey. I'm sure you do. It's like with John. I'm sure he wants the Rams to lose. But I'm gonna maybe have a little bit of different opinion. Now, I think I don't want the Rams to, like, out of all the NFC teams, I think the Rams are the team that I'd like to see win the least, just because I'm still maybe a little salty at them. But again, it's also a completely different team, and I never was mad at Matt Stafford, you know. But I also don't like Stan Kroenke. I don't like Stan Kroenke, so maybe it wouldn't be great to see him win, you know. Enjoyable to watch the clowns flounder. Yeah, it's just it's like a train wreck, you know, like a fun train wreck where, like, you know, nobody actually like dies or anything. It's just like watching like a fun boom, you know, like, yeah. I mean, Browns fans are certainly suffering, but none of them are dead. So, you know, sorry, Thomas, who I know is not watching and probably won't watch because I don't think he goes back and watches these later. But I mean, sorry, Thomas, but rivalry's the rivalry. You know, when we suck, you know, I like actually tip in Thomas's defense, when we suck, he personally, and I actually don't wish this for Thomas because Thomas is a good guy, right? But when the Bengals suck, Thomas generally tries to be supportive. Like he'll call me up and be like, "Hey, don't worry, you guys got this. It'll be fine," etc., etc., etc. But a lot of Browns fans are not like that. Like Thomas is just a good guy, honestly. Most Browns fans are not like that, though, and I'm sorry, Thomas. You're rooting for a team that I don't like, and I'm sorry that you do like them, but it is what it is. Doink. Yeah, that was unfortunate for the Broncos. I mean, it's a close game, so it could be the difference, but it also might not kill him, too. It could go either way. We'll see. Tell you DA is the most delusional coach ever? You think he's delusional? I don't know if he's delusional. I think he's a moron. I don't know about delusional. Buffalo gets the ball first in the second half. And that's rough. That's rough because the Bills' offense was kind of heating up there a little bit. And the Broncos' defense kind of made a statement, and then the Broncos missed the field goal. So, and now Battle has the potential to be elite or nearly so. Yeah, he's got the potential, stranger. He looked really good in his rookie season, but he didn't look as good this year. And he still flashed some of that talent, but I do think that Lou might have stunted his growth a little bit. So I'm not saying permanently. You know, the next DC could come in and do a really good job with him. I hope he does because, you know, I mean, like if honestly, if Zach gets fired, like if the Bengals miss the playoffs again next year, Zach's probably out. Maybe, I don't know. The Bengals might give him because like he's under contract, I think through 2026, or is it to 2026? Can't remember. Next comments from Joe. Sorry about talking trash about your team, bud. Zach Taylor's contract through 2026. So Zach honestly might have 2 more years. I don't know. Bengals don't really tend to like to fire guys, but I think they might let the contract run out if they're not experiencing success. So we'll see. We'll see. But it's possible they could fire him if they miss the playoffs next year, which would really suck for Jordan Battle, because then that probably means the defensive coordinator's gone. And I mean, he's Lou Anarumo. If Zach Taylor gets fired next year, Lou Anarumo would have done Jordan Battle dirty, guys. What's up? What's up, Joe? Thomas is just drunk all the time. Yeah, but he's a good guy. He's a good guy. You know he's a good guy. Yeah, it's hard for our good defensive players to say good as the talent around them degrades. Well, I mean, it's not just that, stranger. It's the fact that these guys are getting older. You know, like, I mean, they're not like super crazy old, but like, I mean, you know, injuries pile up, time takes its toll. And like, I mean, you're relying on the guys you relied on 4 years ago to continue to be like at an elite level. And it's just, you can't expect that, you know? I mean, look at Jermaine Pratt. Jermaine Pratt has been one of the better linebackers in Bengals history, but he had a bad tackling problem this year, you know? And that's just like stuff like that pops up. You got to have, you know, you got to have other guys playing well around your veteran guys to really get what you want to get out of them. Lou didn't adapt. Yeah, Lou and adapting didn't seem to go together. Yeah, that was always my issue with him, honestly. Timed getting rid of Lou right as long as we had a chance. You couldn't. Yeah, I thought they should have gotten rid of him last year. and I wouldn't have been too sad to see them get rid of him after 22. But after last year, he had to go, in my opinion. But, it is what it is. If the D had played like this all year, we'd be in contention for number 1. Lou defenses are elite with the right players, but falls apart without them. Well, that's the thing. Louis, they weren't ever really elite, but they had the potential to be elite. But again, it's not if they have the right players. It was if they just had the specific players that, like at their age and talent level that existed when they went to the Super Bowl. Like that was the defense was always based off of the same thing for years, and that was Lou's downfall. All right, so the Bills are going to catch the kickoff and return it to the 25, 30, gets out of a couple tackles, gets tackled around the 36-yard line. So that's a pretty decent return there. After what Allen said on the podcast he is delusional. Well, you got to explain to me what he said, Mikey. I don't know what he said. Thomas is a stand-up individual. Yeah, he's a pretty good guy. I don't know if he'd be good at stand-up. Maybe if he practiced with improv and stuff first, but no, yeah, he's a good guy. Good guy. Pratt has had a tackling issue ever since he stripped Kelsey. He went strip happy. That might be it. That might be it, stranger. And I think honestly, Lou probably encouraged that from him because, hold on, James Cook, cutting through the Broncos defense once again, picks up about 6 yards there. I think Lou Anarumo started coaching the guys to really focus on trying to get turnovers because his scheme wasn't working, and he put that on the players rather than putting that on himself and his scheme. This is speculation on my part, right? But that seems to be what was going on. So, I think Jermaine Pratt just kind of got in the habit of going for the turnover rather than going for the tackle, and I mean, you see what happened, and I think Lou was starting to actually inhibit some of these players from playing at their best level. Sometimes you get guys like Trey Hendrickson. James Cook just continues pushing forward, and the Broncos. Speaking of not tackling, the Broncos have been terrible at that all day. Yeah, I think that's the problem with Lou. I think he was actively inhibiting some players from reaching their best level, and I think maybe Zach noticed that, honestly. So, I don't know. Halftime just ended. Sure did, and I need to update it. Thanks, Richard. Thanks, Richard. You had the comment up but didn't read it. Oh, did I? Oh, okay. I'll get back to it here in a second. Josh Allen takes a shotgun snap. He rolls back, and he's going to throw wide open. Is that Dalton Kincaid? No, it wasn't. It was Dawson Knox. It'd be about it was like 30-something yards there. Man, I tell you, DA. That's not what he said. I want to see them Bucks lose by 55. Oh, he said he didn't fail, but he just wasn't in our future plans, but somebody else would want him. Well, no, that's I don't think that's delusional at all, Mikey. Well, other than the not failing part, I think he's delusional at that. I think he certainly did fail. But I'll break that down a little bit more here in a second. It's going to be a handoff to James Cook and just once again slicing through their Broncos defense, absolutely obliterating them. Man, their run defense is really bad today, guys. Somebody else would want him. I do think somebody else would want him, Mikey. Like most of that I think is true. Well, the second part. Okay, the first part, I don't know. I don't know why the Saints fired him, but I definitely think he failed and should have been fired. As far as somebody else wanting him, though, I think that's true. A lot of Bengals fans have been talking about wanting to bring him on as DC, and no, thank you. Please, no, God. But, I mean, I think that just represents when James Cook picks up about 3 yards there on the run, so it's going to be first and goal from the 5 now. But I think Bengals fans talking about how much they'd like Dennis Allen as part of their, and that it doesn't seem to be the number one guy many people are going for, but he's part of like the top 3 guys people keep talking about. And I think that just illustrates how that Dennis Allen, I think, is still well thought of in the NFL, which is crazy to me because I think he's an idiot. But, I don't know. Second and goal. It's going to be a handoff to James Cook, and Broncos do a good job of stopping him there. Maybe not as good as they could have because They could have had like a 3-yard loss there, and James Cook ends up bouncing out of a tackle and picking up, basically getting back to the line of scrimmage. So, you know, not a good play, but could have been a lot worse. But yeah, I think he definitely did fail. But I do think though that somebody else is gonna. I think Dennis Allen will have another job, if not this year. It'll probably most likely because he takes the year off. But Dennis Allen's gonna have another job. Don't get that confused at all. Nice open field tackle. Somebody else. Someone wants someone 26 and 53. Yeah, I think they do, Mikey. Josh Allen dancing around, got nobody to throw to, and eventually the pass protection broke down way before that, but Josh Allen was doing everything he could to stay out of the danger and was not able to, get sacked. It's 4th and goal. Bills are going to come out for a field goal. Someone else wants 26 and 53. Maybe not as a head coach immediately, Mikey. I don't think that's what I'm saying. I don't think that's necessarily what he's saying. I think he's saying he'll have another job, almost certainly as a defensive coordinator in the NFL. And he'll probably get another head coaching opportunity at some point. Because that was his second attempt at being a head coach, right? So in the future, if an NFL team is looking for a guy who's experienced, they'd probably interview Dennis Allen. And if, they like Dennis Allen in the interview, then he'll probably get another head coaching job at some point. When? I don't know. But he'll almost certainly get another job at some point. Saints defense fall apart this year. Well, yeah, he was also the head coach, so that does matter, I think, but it's not necessarily going to be a make or break thing for a lot of NFL teams, I don't think. What they will see is that he was the Broncos defensive coordinator in 2011. Coached the Saints secondary before that. Assistant defensive line coach, has a pretty good track record, I think, of success on defense. And then was the Saints defensive coordinator, a really successful Saints defensive coordinator before he became the head coach. And I think even you can admit that. Yeah, they fell apart this year, but Dennis Allen was a pretty good defensive coordinator before that. Third attempted, he coached the Broncos right after McDaniels. Oh, was that like as a interim though? No, he didn't. Yeah, I'm not. I don't think you're right about that, Mikey. He was the Raiders head coach for 3 years after McDaniels. But I don't think he was ever the head coach. I don't think. Yeah, I don't think he was never the head coach in Denver. He was the defensive coordinator for one season, with Josh McDaniels, and he didn't get rehired. Well, partially because he became a head coach, but someone said that. Actually, that was 2010. That wasn't 2011, right? That was 2010 when McDaniels was the head coach there. So that wasn't even with Dennis Allen. Someone said that. Yeah, well, it's not true though. He was never the head coach in Denver. He was a defensive coordinator for 1 year, and he was they ranked like 5th in sacks that year. It wasn't the greatest defensive coordinator performance of all time, but it was he did some good things. He previously coached with the Saints before that. He was an assistant defensive line coach. But he was never a head coach before Oakland. And frankly, like when he was the head coach in Oakland, I thought, yeah, when he was the head coach in Oakland, he definitely had poor results. I think I remember thinking at the time that Dennis Allen was mostly being held down by the Raiders themselves, more so than Dennis Allen being a bad coach. But then he became the coach of the Saints, and I was like, oh yeah, no, that guy sucks. So I guess I was wrong, but I was also you know, like I turned I think I was still 18. Like I'd literally just become an adult when no, that's not right. That was 2011. I'm thinking of when he was the Broncos DC. So I was very early into my adulthood when Dennis Allen was the coach of the Raiders, and I don't know. I also had a lot of trouble watching football back then because I lived in Athens and I didn't have A, good internet, B, I didn't have any cable to speak of. So, my ability to even keep up with the NFL back then was rough. I kept up with the Bengals best I could, but I had a lot of trouble keeping up with the rest of the NFL. All right. Yeah, good job by the Bills there to stop the Broncos for like maybe a half-yard gain there. So this is turning into a much more defensive game than I thought it would be. It's still 10-7. I thought we'd at least have like 2 touchdowns per team by this point, but all right. I think I've changed my mind on Aaron Glenn. Well, do you want him to be your head coach? That'd be interesting. I think Aaron Glenn's really good, honestly. I know maybe you don't want him because of your experience with him, but I think he's a good coach. All right, it's going to be another attempted run by the Broncos. Javonte Williams gets a little more on that one and manages to break a few tackles, but still only ends up getting about 4 yards. And it's going to be 3rd and 5 now. So it's better than getting stuffed, though. Is Dennis Allen a bad coach or the Saints a bad team? Both are true. Yeah, no, I agree with that, Richard. I think both are true. I think the Saints have been mismanaged ever since Drew Brees, and really through the end of Drew Brees' tenure. All right, wow. Bo Nix found number 16 there for a first down, but he bobbled it and went over his head. Troy Franklin, who's the one he had that big bomb to earlier. Wow. Yeah, that just went straight through Franklin's hands. You got to catch that, dude. It was a little high, but not so high that you can't catch it. That's not Bo Nix's fault at all. Yeah, no, Richard. Punts away. It's gonna be fair caught at the 28-ish yard, 27-ish yard line. Yeah, Dennis Allen. I think Dennis Allen is a bad coach. But I also think the Saints have been mismanaged. Really ever since they won the Super Bowl. And I know they had like a little bit of success there, but I think it was mostly Drew Brees being successful in spite of the way that the Saints were, supporting him. And I think a lot of that has to do with like all the salary cap shenanigans they got themselves into, and then they ended up biting them in the ass. And I think honestly, Dennis Allen was basically brought in to try to manage the disaster that was the salary cap in the New Orleans Saints, and they're starting to come out of those issues now. But now it's gonna have to be a complete and total rebuild. Like I think the Saints are gonna like hit the complete reset button after this year, and I think, they like, and I hate to say it, Mikey, but I think it's quite possible that if the Saints do what I think they're going to do this offseason, I think it's quite possible that the Saints could be competing for the number one the number one overall pick next year. Like, I think these things could potentially be and this is pure speculation on my end at this point. The Saints could completely go a direction I'm not expecting, but I think it's quite possible that the Saints go into total rebuild mode after this and might be competing for the number one overall pick in the 2026 draft. And I think it might be that for a little bit. Like at least 2 years, maybe 3. And I hate to say it, and for your sake, Mikey, I hope I'm wrong, but I think that's what the Saints are probably walking into. You said he sucked when I told you about Week 18 last year. Huh? Oh, I said he sucked? Aaron Glenn? No, I said Aaron Glenn was good. What? What are you talking about? I said I wanted Aaron Glenn to be our defensive coordinator. And I also said I think I want, like, if we move on from Zach, I wanted him to be our head coach. What I said was potentially he might not be the best fit for the Saints based off of what you were telling me. But I also said that I think he'd be, you might be right about Aaron Glenn with the Saints. But I think that he's still a good head coach candidate. That's what I said. I don't remember exactly what you told me about week 18. No, Dennis Allen? Yeah, Dennis Allen sucks. Easily. I think it's both. I think Dennis Allen is a bad coach and the Saints are a bad team. I think it's both. Is Paramount skipping and repeating for anyone else? I don't use Paramount, stranger, so I couldn't tell you. 1st and 10. It's going to be a handoff to, I think, James Cook, and he only gets about a yard there, so Broncos defense actually tackled for once. What I realized, we got to be patient. This is not going to be a Sean Payton 2006 situation where he comes in, unite the troops to be the NFC Championship. This is going to take a few years, maybe 2027. That's what I'm saying. I think it's going to be a total rebuild, and it's going to take. And I think if the Saints are smart, they embrace that, and they shoot for future success, and maybe hire like a Gerard Mayo type of guy to come in and be a sacrificial lamb. Not the first overall, but definitely top 10. Well, right. What I'm saying, I'm not saying they're gonna be the first overall. I'm saying they're going to be competing for first overall. Josh Allen throws that to Khalil Shakir on the left, and he pushes through a couple Broncos players, breaks a few tackles, ends up picking a first down. Pretty good play there. Pretty sure he meant Allen. Yeah, I thought he said Aaron Glenn. Dennis Allen, not Josh Allen. Yeah, we know, Richard. When I told you what Allen did, I'm kind of lost at this point, Mikey. Sorry. Tree is so apathetic about the Steelers right now. Yeah, it's because the Steelers are a fucking joke. And I'm so fucking here for it. And I think it's a shame that they made the playoffs, and not just for my sake, but in general. But it's also, I hate that the Steelers made the playoffs and that they, like, Mike Tomlin just keeps getting all these fucking winning records, despite the fact that the Steelers aren't very good. Holding on the Bills, so that play's actually going to be coming back. And my stream just reset, so that's annoying. I think it's the second time this happened. Oh my god, stop with the friggin' noise. Alright. Yeah, as far as I like urinating Tree. I'm not necessarily happy to see him in pain, but I am so here for the Steelers being a fucking joke. It makes me so happy. It's 1st and 20 now after that hold from the 31-yard line. So that could kill the drive before it even really starts. All right, Josh Allen, shotgun snap. They're looking around, and he's going to roll out to his right, try to extend the play, and he does, and he manages to pick up about 7 yards there, even though there was a guy who was kind of chasing him down, but he jukes him and ends up getting 8 yards, actually. It's going to be 2nd and 12. Just saw a graphic saying Jamar Chase had 200 more yards after the catch than the second-place guy. Really? And that right there is why Lou Anarumo got fired. And why I wouldn't have been shocked if Zach did too. But that right, okay, 2nd and 13. I was right. The graphic was wrong. But that right there is why Lou Anarumo got fired. You had Joe Burrow having just a fucking MVP level season. Josh Allen throws it way, way too high for number 22 there, and number 22 of the Broncos hits him really badly, and that's almost certainly going to be a hit on a defenseless receiver, personal foul there, and the Broncos aren't even arguing it. So, yeah. But, I mean, he's down too, though. Who is that? Yeah, personal foul on the Broncos. Thought so. Yeah, that is Ray Davis. Ooh. Oh, shame. I like Ray Davis. Former Kentucky Wildcat. Oh, boy, hopefully he's okay. He got smacked on the side of the helmet there. Poor guy. Yeah. Ray Davis. I'm a big Ray Davis fan, y'all. That sucks. Brandon Jones of the Broncos is the one who laid the hit. So he's the one who got the foul. But yeah, that right there is why Lou Anarumo got fired. Because, yeah, Joe Burrow out here having an MVP level season, right? Just almost did the Peyton Manning thing where he got like, I mean, he was close to 5,000 passing yards. And let me bring up Joe Burrow's stats real quick, since we're on commercial anyway. Like I said, hopefully Ray Davis is okay. Joe Burrow in 2024 had 4,918, almost 5,000 yards passing, 43 touchdowns, 9 interceptions. A quarterback rating of 108.5. That's his best quarterback rating of his career. Joe Burrow had the best year of his career in an already really good career. Like if Joe Burrow one day makes the Hall of Fame, 2024 will be one of the reasons. Like 2024 will be one of the years people point at and be like, that's a Hall of Fame year right there. Joe Burrow had essentially a Hall of Fame year this year. Jamar Chase won the Triple Crown and apparently had 200 more yards after the catch than the second place guy. Trey Hendrickson finishes as the lead leader in sacks. And we missed the playoffs because the defense couldn't get their shit together. The defense finished 25th in the NFL in sacks, despite Trey Hendrickson by himself finishing as the league leader. That right there is why Lou Anarumo got fired and why he deserved to be fired, and why, I was thinking maybe they might not, because the defense kind of like got it together a little bit down the stretch. But when you really kind of put everything together, it's like, no, that was unacceptable. That was completely unacceptable performance by the defense, and I'm glad Zach took the initiative. I really am. It's 13-7. Sure is, Mark. My bad. Yeah, I've been talking a little bit too much, I think. All right, Ray Davis is going into the locker room. He's done. He's being escorted too. Like, not like he's being belligerent or whatever. Like, escort is in like people are like walking on both sides of him, carrying his arm. So he's clearly that he's done for the day. All right, James Cook takes the handoff, and the Broncos stop him for about a yard there. I was definitely wrong about Houston below Pittsburgh. Yeah, dude, that's what I'm saying, Mikey. Like, Pittsburgh was a fucking joke. The fact that you came that close to them being 11-6 is just it's so annoying every year that the Steelers just make everybody think that they're a good team. And then everybody realizes at the end of the year, oh no, they actually aren't. But like the last time the Steelers won a playoff game was like against the Dolphins, I think, like 9 years ago or something. Yeah, just unreal, man. 2nd and 9, Josh Allen rolls back. He's going to throw, and it's caught. Dawson Knox. First down for the Bills. Looks like the Bills are starting to take a bit of control of this game. And if the Broncos want to have any chance, they're going to need to start getting something going, especially on offense here soon. And P.J. Locke just completely whiffed in coverage on that play. 0-4 since the Yinzer Mobile. Yep. I love it. I love it. I love it. Ever since they just got completely embarrassed overall, like ever since Days of Our Steelers, that's basically what it's been. Ever since Days of Our Steelers, they've just been permanently in Days of Our Steelers mode. Josh Allen throws to literally nobody. I'm possibly throwing it away, but it looked like he had a guy open, so Keon Coleman looked like he was open, so I'm not really sure. Like, a great job, by the way, by Keon Coleman to like break Riley Moss's ankles on that play to get open, and Josh Allen just throws it into a black hole. Like, weird play there. Defenseless big time. Big hit coming up. You're talking, yeah. Headshot too, yeah. Poor Ray Davis, man. If the Bills win, I'll be 3-0 in the playoffs. What, like predictions? Good for you, Mikey. Wait, no, didn't you pick the Steelers to win? I swear you picked the Steelers to win. Or maybe you were rooting for the Steelers but picked the Ravens. I swear you said the Steelers were going to win, though. Could be wrong. 3rd and 8, James Cook only gets about 2 yards on that run, so it's going to be 3rd and 8 now. Didn't like how much they were holding him up walking to the back. Yeah, I didn't either. Not good, man. He's if the Bills win today, like I'm sure they will, he might be out. He might not make it back. I mean, if the Bills make it to the Super Bowl, he might be able to come back from that, depending on how bad the whatever is going on there. All right, good screenplay there to Keon. No, I'm sorry, not Keon Coleman. Khalil Shakir. Good screenplay there. Picks up about 9 yards. It's gonna be 4th and 1 though. Why you're throwing a screen on 3rd and 10, I don't know, but it almost worked. So, all right. 4th and 1 now, and Bills are going for it, which makes sense to me. Your defense is playing well. Got an opportunity to really stick it to them here. You're up by 6 as is, so you got a little bit of room to play with here. I think going for it here kind of makes sense. Your offense is playing well. Helped up you in blue for both teams, not kind of, John, sort of. I kind of thought about that. I used to have a John Elway jersey. I don't know what happened to it. Josh Allen throws after running around in the backfield forever and just whips it. Looks like he's throwing to nobody in the end zone, and it almost hits the ground, but just barely makes it to his receiver, and that's a touchdown for the Bills. Holy crap! And who was that? And nice job to. My only question is, did Johnson here did his leg go out before he really had full possession of the ball? It's Ty Johnson. My question is, does his leg slide out of bounds? He catches it there. Does he really secure it though? I don't know. I think he kept his leg in bounds. By the time he secures it, he's well. And that foot comes down out of bounds, but his knee's down though, and so that's really that's pretty close, kind of hard to tell, but he definitely catches it before his foot goes out of bounds. The question is, does he secure it before his foot goes out of bounds? But either way, what an unbelievable play by both Josh Allen and maybe even in an even better catch there by Ty Johnson if it stands. I think there's a pretty good chance it could stand because it's really close and it was called a touchdown on the field. But woo, what a play! What an absolute play! Mike Tomlin has a no trade clause. Okay, cool, Mikey. When's the last time a coach got traded? I think Bill Belichick might have been the last time a coach got traded. Am I right about that? Last time a coach got traded in the NFL. Yeah, Sean Payton, I guess, technically. Don Shula, Bill Parcells, Mike Holmgren, Bill Belichick, John Gruden. Okay, I guess John Gruden. I didn't realize John Gruden got traded. I guess I should have known that. Herm Edwards got traded? Why? Why would you trade for Herm Edwards? Bruce Arians. Didn't realize he got traded. Okay. I guess I'm wrong. Sean Payton, I guess I remember him getting traded, sort of. But that was also a weird situation. It wasn't quite the same thing. But, very, very rare for coaches to be traded in the first place. I'd be shocked if Mike Tomlin got traded. Even without the no-trade clause. But that's also part of the thing. It doesn't really matter. Because, what it matters is that the Steelers... if the Steelers wanted to trade him, they'd have to get his permission and have him waive the clause. And that means he'd basically be able to pick whatever team he wants to get traded to. So that doesn't mean that he's not going to get traded. That just means he's, But, Mike Tomlin getting traded seems pretty unlikely. Apparently Jim Harbaugh almost got traded. The Browns made a real play but didn't get him. Very rare, though, for a coach to get traded. I guess it's happened more often than I think it's happened, to be fair, as I'm looking through this. But very rare. Also, Mike Holmgren, apparently. You picked the Ravens? Were you, rooting for the Steelers? I said the Steelers could make it close. Well, they made it kind of interesting there at the end. All right, this play's still under review.
I mean, he catches it there. Does he have it fully secured before his foot taps out, though? That's the question that the refs, I think, really got to... All right, they're giving it to him. I think it's just because it was called on the field, and you're really getting into the nitpicky, nitty-gritty there. Really kind of, it's just a judgment call at that point, so stick with the call on the field. 2-point attempt. Josh Allen rolls back. He's looking around. He is going to throw to the back of the end zone, and that's caught. Boy. Keon Coleman. And the Bills take a 21-7 lead. And this game that was looking close is suddenly looking like it's not going to be. The Bills are almost certainly going to run away with this one at this point. Then again, the Steelers were down 21-0, and they came back a little bit. They didn't come anywhere close to completing the comeback. But yesterday against the Ravens, which was it ended up being a more interesting finish than you think. But the Steelers were down 21-0. And let's see. Steelers down 21-0. They ended up finishing the game 28-14, but it wasn't garbage time necessarily. It was kind of weird. Steelers with 3 minutes left in the third quarter made it a 2-point ball game. And so if the offense had come through like literally at all in the fourth quarter, that would have been maybe potentially an interesting game. But luckily for my sanity, and I guess luckily for the Ravens and everything like that, the Steelers are still the Steelers, and they're not actually all that good. And so pulling off a really impressive win like that would just not be really in the cards for them, I don't think. Nice fourth. It really was a nice 4th-and-1 call. Why does the venue change impact more than Monday night? Or who does the venue change impact more for Monday night? Venue change? What? That's Vikings-Rams, right? Was it venue change? NFL moves Vikings-Rams playoff tilt to Arizona due to the fires. Ah, yeah, the wildfires. Who does that affect more? I'm guessing that would affect the Rams more, right? Like, they don't get a home game now. And the Vikings don't have to play in the Rams stadium. Like, I think it's pretty clear here who that affects. It easily affects the Rams more than it affects the Vikings. I don't actually know a way that it would affect the Vikings other than like, now they have to like change their plans of where they're going to be, but they were already going on the road. So it easily impacts the Rams way more than it impacts the Vikings. No question. And that could be another reason why the Vikings might win that game, honestly. Josh Allen on the replay there. Yeah, what a play. And he got a ton of pressure while he's making that throw. Got pressure in his face and just like times that perfectly. And doesn't get it exactly where it needs to be, but does get it where it had to be, I guess. Oh, okay, so it doesn't get it where it should have been, but gets it just enough where it needs to be. So that's going to be a touchback for the Broncos. Initially muffed, I guess, but it just bounces down, and there's nobody obviously anywhere near him, so it's just a touchback. But what a weird fair catch. Bills going big on 4th-and-1. That was a nice. Yeah, dude, that was an impressive drive by the Bills just now. The Bills are going to be something to pay attention to. I think this might be the year where they beat the Chiefs. Hard to see, but the ball may have moved from impacting the ground. Hands were under. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But apparently not. Sean Payton got traded. Yeah, I know. I corrected myself, Mikey. LA Rams don't have any fans, so being played in Arizona. Hold on, it's gonna be a handoff to Javonte Williams, picks up about 4 yards. Being played in AZ is not as big of a deal as it would be for other teams. No, you're thinking of the Chargers, John. The Rams have fans. And home field advantage matters. I know you don't like the Rams, but they do have fans. So you're thinking of the Chargers. The Chargers don't really have fans. Like they do technically have fans, but the Chargers are the ones who get accused of all the time of not having fans. The Rams, nobody accuses the Rams of not being supported. Why they go for 2? Because he might as well. They were that they had like they making it a 14-point ball game as opposed to a 13. Like the difference between a 12, Bills do a good job of stopping the run on that play. It's gonna be 3rd and 6. So the difference between a 12 and a 13-point ball game isn't really that big of a difference, but between a 13 and a 14-point ball game does make a big difference because now it's a 2-touchdown lead instead of a touchdown and 2 field goals, right? The Broncos are gonna basically have to have 2 fully successful drives to come back against the Bills, and they've only had 1 successful drive all game. 14 points, yeah, that's why. Wanted the Ravens to win because I thought that wasn't going to be how Texans Chargers. There's a flag on the play. False start on the Broncos. That's going to push them back. Wanted the Ravens to win, but I thought it wasn't going to be like how the Texans Chargers was. Well, the game ended a little more interesting than that game ended. But yeah, yep, that was a weird game. Rams Stadium doesn't have any walls. That's why they moved it. Yeah, I'm sure that's probably why they moved it. Also with wildfires and everything, you don't want to mess with that. 3rd and 11. Bo Nix, empty formation after motioning Javonte Williams to his left. Rolls back. He's going to throw and almost picked by the Bills. I mean, they stopped him, so the Broncos are going to have to punt on 4th and 11, but could have been picked easily. Yeah, I think the Broncos are toast. I think we're in the 3rd quarter, and I don't think there's much left. Rams now have to travel, so them. Yep, that's what I'm saying. It really absolutely affects the Rams. And part of the reason what I'm saying is, like, I know, John, you're saying, the Rams don't have any fans, blah, 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 blah. I get what you're saying there. But the Vikings are already on the road, so how could that possibly affect them at all? Like, even if even if the Rams don't have, big return here by the Bills, doing a lot of shifty, like, spinning and juking and everything, ends up getting down to the 41-yard line. Nice punt return. Yeah, the Broncos are toast. They look like they're already giving up at this point. But like regardless of whether you think they don't have fans or whatever, at the same time, there's a difference between like the comforts of home and having to travel to a different city. Like playing on the road always is less preferable than playing at home, 100% of the time. So it absolutely affects the Rams more than the Vikings, no question. Saw Vikings fans are paying for the Rams fans' food and clothes, etc. Well, that's awful nice of them. That's called being a good sport. Gotta respect that. Neither LA team has many fans. They don't show up to the games. Yeah, I get it. They show up more to Rams games though than they do like they don't have amazing attendance for the Rams, but it's not like it is for the Chargers. Really have piss poor attendance. Let's check the attendance rankings here because I'm just curious now that you mention it. Very easy for Smoke to get in with no walls. Yeah, that's why they're moving it. Okay, so it's actually the Bears have had the worst attendance this year, which makes sense. They're bad. Wow, it's actually they haven't been like LA has no. The Rams are the 7th best team in the NFL in terms of attendance. The Chargers are down at 15, but I mean neither of the LA teams have had bad attendance this year. Probably because both of them are pretty good. But yeah, it's the Rams are the number 7 team in the NFL in terms of attendance. The Rams are not the ones who have the problem with attendance. The Chargers are the team that have the problem with attendance. It benefits Minnesota. Absolutely agree. Yes, that's what I'm saying. Cardinals are a division rival of the Rams, so they should be used to playing in that stadium. That doesn't matter. Like the only thing that's going to be similar is the stadium itself. The stadium doesn't matter. The Vikings are used to playing in a dome, so the stadium itself won't matter at all. I don't think at all. Used to live around Phoenix. Depending on wind direction, they may not even be out of the smoke. Well, yeah, but isn't it, the Cardinal Stadium's a dome though, right? Yeah, State Farm Stadium. Yeah, it's a dome. So yeah, the smoke won't bother them there. That's the main thing. Retractable roof, right? That's what I'm saying. Why is one St. Louis team playing another St. Louis team stadium, none of which play in St. Louis? Why not have the game in St. Louis? Well, honestly, John, maybe St. Louis, like, I don't like it when teams move, but maybe it says something that St. Louis has had two teams move. Like, two completely different teams have moved. So maybe St. Louis just doesn't do a good job of supporting their teams. Like, I mean, again, I don't like it when teams move, but at some point, maybe you got to point the finger at St. Louis a little bit. I know you don't like to hear that, but that's the second team that's moved. Battlehawks. Yeah, but they're in the XFL. Like, they're not expecting huge attendance. But, hey, I agree. Battlehawks. Caw-caw! Josh Allen. All right, that first play was like a 1-yard gain. Attempted run didn't work out very well. From the 42-yard line. Dude, I am hungry. Hope this game doesn't take too much longer. I should have eaten lunch beforehand, but I got into a time crunch. All right, so it's going to be a screen to Amari Cooper that gets blown up as well. The Broncos defense doing better on this drive, I see. I want the Rams to move out of the NFL. Well, I'm sure John feels the same way, Mikey. But, I get that you don't like the Rams, but it also wasn't necessarily the Rams' fault that happened, Like, I think you should direct your ire more towards the refs than the Rams, but fair enough, I guess. All right, it's teams that move to St. Louis. Well, yeah, that's true. St. Louis has never started in an NFL team. Well, they might have, because the Rams came from L.A. And the Cardinals came from Chicago. So, easy come, easy go, honestly, when it comes to St. Louis. A, support your teams better. B, maybe get a team that isn't stolen from another city as well. It's like, the more I think about it, the less and less empathy I have for St. Louis. Like, I'm not trying to be a dick. I know you don't want to hear it, but, it's not like, St. Louis stole their teams, so... Teams are, it's not the right word. Made, it's not the right word, you know what I mean. They stay here, watch the video on that. Yeah, sort of. Not always. The Browns moved. The Browns moved. The Oilers moved. The Oilers were born and bred in Houston. Were there for years. Not as long as the Browns were in Cleveland, but pretty long time, since like the 60s, and they moved. Now they're the Titans, and they've been in Tennessee the whole time. No one's ever considered that I've never heard any speculation that the Titans might move. What other teams moved? Well, the Chiefs moved. The Chiefs used to be also from Houston. So, like, Houston is actually another city. Houston's on their third team right now with the Texans. Now, technically, the Houston... Oh, no, that was the Dallas Texans. I'm sorry, not the Houston Texans. So that was the Chiefs used to be the Dallas Texans. And that was an AFL team too. They moved while they were still in the AFL prior to the merger. I don't care whose fault it was, and trust me, I hate the refs too, but the Rams still, to this day, keep saying it was clean. That's fair. I understand. I understand. Fans can be annoying to deal with sometimes. I'll give you that one. That's the NFL's fault. They don't put teams here to start here. Well, St. Louis could have made a bid, a better bid than they did. And there will be another opportunity, so maybe St. Louis gets one. Josh Allen rolls back. He's going to throw it up, and he's got number one there, Curtis Samuel, and he jukes out of a few people and breaks a tackle, and he's in for the touchdown. What a play. And I'm sorry, not Curtis Samuel. That was Sanchez. Sanchez, number one. That was Curtis Samuel. I guess I just read the name wrong. That was Curtis Samuel. Great play there. 55-yard reception, and the Bills are running away with this one at this point. After a rough first half, Bills are taking control. Yep. Bills are gonna win this one, y'all. This is just another example of what I'm talking about. 7th seed, like 7 seeds just don't perform well. I know Green Bay won a game against the Cowboys, but the Cowboys were frauds, and we all knew it. But 7 seeds, we don't need these damn 7 seeds. I'm telling you, we don't need these damn 7 seeds. And if we're gonna have 7 seeds, expand to 40 teams. If you don't want to expand to 40 teams, let's go back to 6 teams in the playoffs. Extra points up. Man. God, the Broncos might be putting up a overall worse performance right now than the Steelers did against the Ravens. Because maybe, I don't know, it's pretty similar. Pretty similar, actually. I guess the difference is the Broncos had a good first half. The Steelers had a horrendous first half. NFL just hates St. Louis. LA Rams get the worst call in NFL history in their favor. Screwed over 2 other cities, St. Louis and New Orleans. Yeah. Yeah. Pretty bad. Worst call in NFL history. I don't know about that. I think probably the Fail Mary was the worst call in NFL history, right? The Packers, and that was the replacement refs. The Packers and the Seahawks, and clearly, clearly that, yeah. Like, I mean, 2 different refs signaling 2 different things, and I think it was the Packers should have won that game. Let's just put it that way. The Fail Mary, easily the worst call in NFL history. I mean, don't get me wrong. The pass interference call was bad. Probably the worst pass interference call in NFL history. Although I would argue that the one against Logan Wilson was more impactful and arguably just as bad. Maybe not. I don't know. But anyway, point being, it was more of a no call, and it's kind of hard to argue with a no call being the worst call in NFL history because, like, in general, it's better, I find, when the refs let guys play. You want consistency, but I don't know. It's probably the worst no call in NFL history. I'll give it that. But as far as calls in NFL history, I can name off a few calls that were worse than that one. As a Ravens fan, it's going to bring me great joy to send them Bills home early. I think the Bills are going to be the Ravens' gold line. Welcome to the channel, by the way. I don't think I've seen you before, so feel free to subscribe. But the way Lamar almost choked against the Steelers. I mean, I know he got it together at the end of the game, but Lamar and the playoffs tend to not mix very well, so I think the Bills will get him. Jaguars, St. Louis, I think bidding for the Panthers and Jaguars expansion team would have been St. Louis Stallions, but Charlotte and Jacksonville got the teams instead. I thought that was weird. I get Charlotte over St. Louis, especially, with all the, issues with the Rams at that point. Wait a minute. 95. That was a big hit by the Bills to stop that kick return there. 95. When did the Rams move? They were bidding for a second NFL team? Yeah, because the Rams moved to to St. Louis. Oh, in '95. Okay, so that must have. I guess maybe the Rams were their backup plan then. But, I mean, giving St. Louis 2 teams would have been ridiculous, honestly. Like St. Louis does not have the infrastructure for 2 NFL teams. I'm sorry, they just don't. I always thought it was weird that Jacksonville got an NFL team, but Charlotte getting an NFL team makes total sense to me. Jacksonville was weird, though. Bo Nix getting out of pressure, and he's just going to try to scramble. Gets out of, makes a guy miss, and almost makes a second guy miss, but does get brought down. Still gets it down to about the 43-yard line. That's going to be a first down easily. The risk of the stadium catching on fire of the game is too much of a risk. I would think that would be a thing too. It's not just the smoke. Too much money in a 7-team format for them to go back to 6. I understand that. I'm just saying it's dumb. I think it makes football worse personally. But yeah, I know I'm not saying that I'm going to stop it. I'm just saying I think it's dumb. All right, good throw by Bo Nix for another first down. And if the Broncos have any shot at coming back in this game, this drive has to end in a touchdown, and the defense has to start getting it together. I mean, it ain't over yet, but if the Broncos don't get it together now, it's over. Bo Nix takes a shotgun snap. He's going to roll back. He throws, and that's caught for a first down. It was a good catch. Not the best throw, but a good catch there. All I'm asking is for Rams fans to at least admit and no about the Fail Mary. No, absolutely no. You're wrong, Mikey. The Fail Mary was the worst call in NFL history. It was like the refs themselves didn't even agree with it in the moment, and it was stupid. Like, I understand that you personally feel differently. You know, you're gonna have your feelings about it, and I get that. Bo Nix with an 11-yard run there. He's really taken over this drive. But I understand you're in your feelings about that play, and I get it. But no, the Fail Mary was the worst call in NFL history by a wide margin. I'll give you that the Rams thing was like the worst no call, but definitely not the worst call. Don't understand the rule well enough for the Fail Mary. Looks like both of them had the ball. I thought it could go either way. I disagree with that. All right, let me go back and look at it just to be absolutely clear. Hit the wrong button. Before I talk out of my ass too much, I'm gonna... Is this not a highlight? There we go. Russell Wilson throws. And that's initially... I mean, Golden Tate's the first one to get his hands on it, right? But I think pretty clearly he doesn't have control of that ball. And then without even a shadow of a doubt, that is a clear interception by the Packers. I'm not even like that is clearly Golden Tate never really fully secures that ball, and that's clearly ripped away by the Packers before by the time that play's over. That was an interception. Worst call of all time. You can't change my mind. I'm sorry. That was clearly a result of replacement refs, but still bad. Big 3-yard loss there for the Bills. Broncos had a good play. Stopped them in the backfield. I might not have my facts straight. That was before my time wasn't born yet. No, I'm looking at it right now. That was clearly an interception by the Packers, no question. The last 2 times the Ravens won a Super Bowl, it was when their quarterback was 28. Hold on. 2nd and 13 from the 25-yard line. Bo Nix got pressure and he rolls out, throws, and dropped. Threw it where it needed to be, but that was not able to be secured by number 17 there. And, Bo Nix has not been the most accurate today, but he is getting it to where his receivers can catch it. And in this case, Devon Vele, who I've never heard of before, is not able to come down with it. I imagine I will continue not hearing about him. It bounced off his helmet. He could have had that, but it bounced off his helmet. Last 2 times the Ravens won a Super Bowl was when their quarterback was 28. 2001, Trent Dilfer, 28. 2013, Joe Flacco, 28. Lamar Jackson is now 28. Yes, but this is nothing. It's not even... That's the only comparison between those 2 Ravens Super Bowl teams and this one. Like, those two Ravens Super Bowl teams were like Joe Flacco going on a magic tear out of nowhere, and also the Ravens had like a really remarkable defense that year. 2000 Ravens was one of the top 2, if not the best defense in all of NFL history. And Trent Dilfer, it had nothing to do with Trent Dilfer. Trent Dilfer, to tell you, had nothing to do with him. The Ravens are fully an offensive football team these days. Their defense is not that great. I think Josh Allen's gonna. I think it could be a high scoring game, but I don't know. I feel like the Bills are a more complete team than the Ravens. The Bills have a good defense and a really good offense. The Ravens have a pretty consistently great offense, but a up and down defense. And I think, especially the way the Bills are playing right now, I think they're going to be hard to stop. And again, especially the way the Ravens played down the stretch against the Steelers yesterday, I would bet probably the Bills going to win that game. All right, Bo Nix throws, caught on 3rd and 13. It's not going to be enough for a first down, but no question the Broncos have to go for it. And I would think we're early in the fourth quarter, to be fair, which I need to go ahead and switch. We're early in the fourth quarter. We're early in the fourth quarter. So you don't have to go for it here, I guess, technically. And it's 4th and 3, apparently. I disagree with that. And that's going to be a turnover on downs. Bo Nix throws it short, and it is 38 there. Is pushed out. And turnover on down for the Bills. There's a Bills player down, though, number 39. The guy who got the push out. Cam Lewis. He's down on the ground. And don't know what's going on with that. Yeah, just not the best design play by the Broncos, but also maybe not the best play by Bo Nix to, throw it to a guy who clearly did not have the running room to make that play happen. While you're here, what are we doing Tuesday? Well, we're gonna do some power rankings. We're gonna recap the way that the division games went. The wild card round. We're gonna recap the wild card round. We're gonna talk about who are I guess rank the top 8 teams left, and kind of talk about what we expect to happen going forward. Talk about favorites. Just talk about playoff stuff in general. That's basically what we're going to be looking at. Unless you got a different idea, but that's what I envision for what we're going to talk about on Tuesday, I guess. So a week Monday night backup ref making a bad call. A weak Monday night backup ref making a bad call is worse than the 3 paid guys standing around in the championship. Yes, Mikey. Because we're talking about the call. Do you expect more out of the refs, like the standard refs, than you do out of the backup refs? Yes. But the call itself was still horrendous. The call itself was still completely egregious and obvious for anybody who's in the area. That was 2 guys who saw the same play and also on replay. Which, here's the thing. At the time, part of the issue is, Mikey, at the time you could not you could not challenge a pass interference call. So it was really just kind of in the moment, the refs saw what they saw, and sucks that they got it wrong. But sometimes in the moment, refs miss things, and that's why you have review. We also don't need to be reviewing every single play, which is why they got rid of that dumb, we can review pass interference rule, because it wasn't helping. And I think the refs might have been rebelling a little bit too. But also it slowed the game down and it made things stupid. They just got rid of that rule. But it's not, it's a lot more egregious. Replacement refs are not. It's a lot more egregious to have the opportunity to review a play and see a clear interception by the Packers and still decide that that's not what happened, than, in the moment, in a very fast play, seeing, not calling pass interference when it should have been called pass interference. That's again, it's a no call. It's a judgment call. It's obviously the wrong call. Josh Allen gets out of pressure there, slides, and picks up about 4 yards. Obviously the wrong call, and you want the refs to do better. But as far as worse than the Fail Mary, no, not at all. Yes, do we have higher expectations for the standard refs than the replacement refs? Yes. But not like that though. That was just an egregious call by the replacement refs. like I could have made that call, and I've never been employed as an NFL. I've never been through their training program and everything. I could have made that call myself by looking at the replay. You know, maybe not in the moment. I might have still gotten it wrong in the moment. I don't know. I might have gotten it right. It's gonna be about a 6-yard run there by Ty Johnson. Bills pick up first down. Oh no, I guess not. Refs called him about a yard short. Never mind. But yeah, like, dude, here's the thing. I could have made the correct call eventually on the Fail Mary. You know, you probably could have made the correct call, Mikey, on the Fail Mary. I don't know if either of us would have necessarily gotten it right in the middle of the game action in the field. Like, I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, you know, it was crazy. A lot of crazy stuff happening. And that's you know, the refs are an obstacle. That's why you can't just expect the refs to get it right all the time. Because nice throw to Ty Johnson to pick up the first down there by Josh Allen. Only picks up 2 yards, but it was a well-designed play to get the yards you needed. Yeah, I forget what I was saying. But I think you understand my point at this point. I've been ranting about it. Do they have to control it to the ground? Yes. Yes, they do. Rasul Douglas did control it to the ground. You can clearly see he got full. And okay, so part of it is, hold on. Ooh, Ty Johnson loses about a yard on that play. Broncos do a good job of stopping him there, and that's nice. But like, where the fuck was that earlier in the game? It'll be 2nd and 11. Do they have to control it to the ground? Touchdowns are interesting because if you come down clearly in bounds, then the second that you catch it, and you have possession and you're in the end zone, then the play's over and it's a touchdown. Doesn't matter if you control it to the ground at that point. Now, if you go out of bounds, apparently it does, which is the weirdest, dumbest rule in the NFL. Oh my God, Broncos. Broncos had an opportunity to get Curtis Samuel for like a 2 or 3 yard loss there on a screenplay, and he spun out of like a bunch of different tackles and ended up getting like 6 yards. Jesus, Broncos. As far as the Fail Mary goes, Rasul Douglas caught it, and he did control it to the ground, and it was really after he got to that point that I think the Packers player ended up taking back control of the ball. But it was after he was down, you know. It was, in my opinion, clearly after he was down, no question. Okay, there we go. All right, Josh Allen rolls back. He's going to throw it up deep on 3rd and 4, and it's caught. Jesus, Broncos. Dalton Kincaid with the bomb. 1st and 10 now on the other flip field position. Yeah, the Broncos are toast, dude. I don't even know if they're even, like, I think a couple guys like Zach Allen's playing hard, but like half of this Broncos team just looks apathetic at this point. They know it's over. All right, Ty Johnson. There's another one. You know, slices through the Broncos defense and picks up about 8 yards. I was born in 97. I was talking about St. Louis expansion, Charlotte, and Jacksonville. I watched the Fail Mary. Yeah. Oh, you're saying you might not have the facts right, yeah. Yeah, no, so I actually don't know how the whole Rams thing went down. I don't know very much about that particular move to St. Louis. But 95 is when, 94, 95, that's when all that expansion stuff was going on with Jacksonville and Charlotte. So it would have been weird, in my opinion. Hold on, James Cook takes the handoff, picks up the first down, about 4 yards, maybe 5. But yeah, it would have been weird. I'm guessing probably what happened is I think probably around like 94, Jacksonville and Charlotte won their bids for a team, and St. Louis was probably trying to bid at that point too, and then they lost the bid. But then the Rams were looking to move out of LA, and they end up, well, we didn't get the expansion team, but now we can get we can entice a team to come move here. So yeah, I think that's probably how it happened. That would have been weird as hell if anybody was considering St. Louis to have 2 NFL teams though. Josh Allen throws it up to Keon Coleman. Just miscommunication. I don't know. Didn't work out at all. Need to rewatch it, see what I think of the call now. It's clear as day to me on the replay. Maybe not in the moment, but on replay, clear as day to me. And frankly, completely unacceptable that you mistake that. Maybe in the moment on the field, I get it. Even though one of the refs did call it an interception, or at least called it incomplete, I guess. But either way, one of the refs got it right, the other ref got it wrong, and then on the replay, they determined that it was a touchdown, which is clearly wrong. Like, I've never seen a more wrong, obviously wrong, on replay call in my life. That was terrible. That was absolutely horrendous. Ravens obliterated the Bills last time they played. Yeah, in the regular season, Mark. Like the Ravens are a regular season team. That's my point. I'm just saying, like, I don't, like, we'll see with the Ravens, but I don't know. So what you're saying is a physical assault is okay. Got it. Well, it is football, first of all. I do also think that that pass interference is they're too liberal with pass interference most of the time in the NFL. They should let defenders play a little bit more, but obviously they're not doing that. And the rules. You got to be consistent. But yes, physical assault is okay in the NFL. It's literally tackle football. That's kind of the point. But am I saying by the letter of the law that it was the right call? No, I'm not. At no point was I saying that, Mikey. Like, you're completely misinterpreting and misrepresenting the words that I'm saying. I said it was a bad call. I just said it wasn't as bad as, it's definitely not one of the worst. It's not the worst call in NFL history. I don't even know if it's top 5 worst. It might be like, but I can think of at least 3 calls off the top of my head that were worse than that. Fail Mary was week 3. It doesn't matter what week it was. It was a bad call. Was it really early in the playoffs? The worst non-call cost the Saints a Super Bowl. No, it cost the Saints a trip to the Super Bowl. Didn't cost them a Super Bowl. Who knows what they would have done? They probably would have won, to be fair. Wow. Josh Allen throws it, and it's caught. Number 13 there. Number 13. Mac Hollins. It's caught, and they're in field goal range now. There's a flag, though. A very late flag, too. So I'm guessing the play is probably going to stand. It might have been roughing the passer. Whatever it was, it got declined. Unsportsmanlike conduct on Mac Hollins. Okay, never mind. I thought, whatever. Okay, I'm glad they didn't call roughing the passer, because that would have been a weak ass roughing the passer. But I've seen like less egregious than that called. Usually on Patrick Mahomes, though, not on Josh Allen. Yeah, Bonito drove him to the ground when he didn't really need to, and sometimes that gets called, but I guess it didn't, so that's fine. I hate the taunting rules. I really despise the taunting rules. They're the stupidest fucking thing, and the refs get so fucking, like, power happy with them. The taunting rules got to be the stupidest things in NFL history, and it's not enough to stop watching the NFL over for me, but it's the dumbest thing. It's the absolute dumbest thing. And I guess the NFL doesn't care as long as people keep watching. It's the dumbest thing. I hate it. I don't remember when the Fail Mary was. Wasn't that in the NFC Championship, though? I want to say the Fail Mary was in the NFC Championship. No, it was just on Monday Night Football. Okay, never mind. But it wasn't week 3. But it doesn't. It's not about the implications. It's like, to me, it's not about the implications of like yeah, it maybe sucks a little more for the Saints than it sucks for the Packers, but at the same time, like, it's not that big. Like, it's like the implications don't really change how bad of a call it was, because it's like, did you do like in my opinion anyway, it's like, did you do a good job or a bad job? And the implications don't matter, because you're making these the decisions in the heat of the moment. You're not thinking about like, oh, the Saints might go to the Super Bowl if I give them a bad call here. Then the refs aren't thinking about that, and they shouldn't be thinking about that. So I don't care about implications. I could have called the PI too, and so could you. No, that's not true, Mikey. You're in the heat of the moment. I think you vastly overestimate your ability to do stuff like that in the heat of the moment. But on the replay, absolutely, you can make the right call. And I know that because I have watched that play and been like, the Fail Mary was obviously wrong. And that's, in fact, actually, if you recall, illegal shift on the Bills, by the way, so that run's coming back. But if you recall, Mikey, that's the argument that the Saints were making at the time. They weren't making the call that, the refs are idiots. They were making the argument that you should be able to challenge pass interference because on replay, it doesn't look like pass interference. And it looks pretty clearly not pass, or it looks pretty clearly like that the pass interference, it looks pretty clear that it was wrong, is basically what they were saying. And you can see that on replay. And that's what the argument that the Saints were making at the time was. They weren't making the argument that the refs are just idiots. Maybe some Saints fans were. But the Saints themselves, anybody who was in the situation knows that sometimes is a hard judgment call to make. But what the Saints were arguing is that you should be able to review that because it's such a difficult decision to make in the moment. The difference is an interception in the end zone or a touchdown in the end zone is reviewable in games, and that's they had the opportunity to step back and look at it, and without all the noise and like in the moment and all the weird stuff happening, they were just looking at it, and they could replay it and look at it, like zoom in and see as many times as they wanted, and they still came up with the really dumb call. So that's why I say the Fail Mary was worse. Replacement refs or not, they're still trained NFL referees, even if they're, even if they have virtually no experience in the NFL. They still have, all of those guys still had experience as like college level referees and stuff like that too. I mean, we're still not talking about guys like me and you going out there, Mikey. We're talking about guys who are pretty well versed in looking at this stuff. And they still made one of the dumbest calls I've ever seen in my entire life. The PI thing, that was a bad no call. But, at the same time, I'm not too upset at them for, preferring to no call. I wish they would call less penalties in general in the NFL. Slows the game down. There's that lack of Broncos tackling again. Yep, they're not. It's not looking good right now. That would have been an INT, not touchdown then. Yeah, it would have been an interception. That's the problem. Packers would have won the game before the pass was thrown. Look, I understand your perspective. I'm just saying that call was horrid. Yeah, it was a bad call. I'm just saying it's not the worst in NFL history. Maybe to you, emotionally, but not, objectively it's not. Woo! Broncos got in the backfield pretty strongly on that one. Josh Allen hands it off to Ty Johnson, but they would have had Josh Allen for like a big loss if he had kept that ball. Start a poll. Worst call in NFL history. Fail Mary, Rams, Saints call, see other. Sure, why not? Let me see if I can I don't even know if I can do that from here. Mikey, are you able to make polls since you're a moderator? I've got issues with doing things like that. I think you can, right? You can make a poll. Let me see. What I'm gonna do. I'm gonna take it off of here real quick. And okay. Participants, moderation activity, timestamps, reaction, pop out chat. I don't even seem to have... Oh, wait, is it this? Engage with your audience. Start a poll. Here we go. I'm going to call it the worst ref decision because, if you say it's a call, then, no calls aren't calls, right? I'm going to put another one. I'm going to add in the immaculate reception, which was a bad call. What year was that? Was that 2018 with the Saints pass interference thing? Yeah, the 2018 NFC Championship game. (2012) Fail Mary, and what was the Immaculate Reception? Uh, 1972. And then we'll do other. All right, so I'm putting the poll in, and y'all let me know. Y'all let me know what you think. And we'll, if you say other, just put it in the chat what you're saying. Catch up to some of these comments real quick. Oh God, we got way too many. Oh wait. Okay, just kind of undid all that stuff. Okay, physical assault, could have called the PI, understand your perspective. Both calls were bad for various, I think this is where we're at. Okay, sorry about that. I was trying to figure out where we're at. Okay, so the poll's up. Okay, so where are we? Where's the last one? Start a poll. That's where we're at. Bad calls were, both calls were bad for various reasons. Yeah, they were both bad. I'm just saying if we're objectively ranking them, I think clearly the Fail Mary was a worse decision. Like it was just horrendous. Replacement refs are not. It was very early in the season. It doesn't matter to me, John. I mean, if it matters to you, then that's fine. But to me, it doesn't matter if it was early in the season or if it was like in the actual Super Bowl. You know, because like, you know, the refs shouldn't be making decisions on who's winning games anyway. So it shouldn't matter what the implication. It could be in the preseason, and it might be the worst of all time. The NFL are talking about changing the playoffs next year. They're doing what now? For what? We would have definitely had a different champion. That's kind of changing history. Yeah, it's changing history, but again, we're talking about the call. We're not talking about the implications. You know, maybe it had more egregious implications, but then you could talk about the really awful PI call that was called on Logan Wilson in the Super Bowl against the Rams, and then the Bengals would have won the Super Bowl almost certainly if that play goes the way it was supposed to go. So is that worse now suddenly? And I think, you know, a lot of people agree that wasn't, you know, most of the time when people argue about that call, they argue that, you know, it's what the Bengals get for having that bad defensive pass interference called on T. Higgins, right? They're saying it was a makeup call, and that's usually what they argue, but nobody argues that it was the right call on Logan Wilson. So I would argue that that's worse because that directly changed the outcome of the Super Bowl. I would argue that's worse if you want to start talking about implications. But I'm not even sitting here trying to say the Logan Wilson PI call was worse than the Fail Mary, or even actually, frankly, worse than the DPI call or the no call. I do think that one was worse. But if you're going to start adding implications in, it was worse that Logan Wilson didn't get his call. Do you have to control the interception to the ground? Yeah, to the ground, but he did control it to the ground. It wasn't really until he was down, and he was being touched the whole time. So the second he comes down, he's down. Even non-Saints fans were saying it was terrible. It was terrible. I agree that it was terrible. Screen. I was trying to figure out the whole poll thing and getting the chat back up. No one said Fail Mary right now. Okay, I don't really. I mean, we could put a poll up. Y'all can disagree with me if you want, but I'm standing my ground. That's how I feel about it. The Rams were driving. Driving what? Huh? I'm confused. What the point of that is? All right. Well, let's see the results so far. We got other. Who said other? Like seriously? Okay. So first of all, Mikey, 2 people have answered so far. One person agreed with you, which I'm pretty sure is you, by the way, and one person said other. So you're currently tied So your opinion's still. If you want to go by the poll, your opinion's wrong. If you want to go by my opinion, your opinion's wrong. But I already said I don't really care. I'm gonna stand my ground on it. But Bo Nix gets sacked in this game's obviously. I mean, we only got like 3 minutes left in this game. It's obviously over at this point. They were gonna score versus the Bengals. No, they weren't. It was fourth down. It was fourth down, and what's his name? No, Logan Wilson stopped him. Like Logan Wilson had the game won, guys. Like it might have been third down. They would have taken a field goal. I can't remember, but hold on. Let me bring that box score up. Bo Nix throws an interception on 4th and 17. It's over. Play by play. Okay, now where was that touchdown? Yeah, it was third down, third and goal from the 8-yard line. Logan Wilson gets called for DPI, and suddenly the Rams have the ball at the 4-yard line, and it was complete bullshit. And then it took them 4 tries, but there's a well, actually technically it only took them 1 try, but then the Rams got a penalty. It knocked them back, and so we got to stop with these makeup calls, dude. And then Eli Apple got flagged for pass interference, so the Rams got 3 first downs in a row, and all of which were bullshit. I don't think that's an interception, by the way. I think that's going to come back. Looks like that ball hit the ground. Yeah, they had 3 first downs. And it was third down and 8, or third and goal from the 8, and Logan Wilson stopped them and got called for DPI completely egregiously. The game would have been over because there was there would have been 1:47 left. Maybe they would have gone for it on 4th down, but they had stopped them up to that point on that set of downs. And it's possible that they would have gone for the field goal there to try to tie it. And then the Bengals would have gotten the ball back with 1:57 left, which gives them more time to go down the field. And the way Joe Burrow played that year, the way that things were going, I guarantee you Joe Burrow would have gotten them in field goal range to win that game. Like that at the very least it would have gone to overtime. It wouldn't have been just an automatic loss. Like that's the completely egregious bullshit fucking. Oh wait, no, it would have gone to overtime. Completely egregious bullshit fucking thing. That was worse. If you want to talk about implications, the implications are worse than the NFC Championship game. The Fail Mary, I believe, was a worse call than the NFC Championship game. And yeah, the NFC Championship game was very bad, but not the worst of all time. It just wasn't. Get your point about changing Super Bowl history? Yeah, it did. It completely changed the entire outcome. Bengals didn't even have a chance to go into overtime. Didn't have a chance to maybe just go win it in regulation. With instead of 46 seconds left to play, there would have been probably about 1:40 left to play. Completely changed the entire complete and total outcome. Completely changed the outcome. Ridiculous. I will die on that hill, by the way. That was worse. Broncos cannot tackle once again. Almost stopped him from getting the first down, but instead he ends up getting like 7 yards. Jesus, Broncos. I think they just don't care anymore. I think it's over. I know it's over, and I think they know it's over, and I think they're just like not bothering anymore. Sean McDermott's over there just shaking everybody's hands at that point. Everybody knows it's over. We're going into the 2-minute warning now. Yeah, the Bengals. The Bengals would have also had all 3 of their timeouts too if they had stopped them there, because they didn't take they didn't take their second timeout until one of those 3 first downs that they had, and then they stopped them on first down. They got to second and goal, and then from second and goal they got the touchdown. But like I almost bet you anything the Bengals win the Super Bowl if Logan Wilson isn't called for DPI on that play, and it was egregious. Everybody agrees it was a bad call. The only argument you ever hear from anybody about that call is that, oh, it's what the Bengals get for getting a bad call from T. Higgins before. But nobody argues that it was the right call. Nobody. I could have swore it was second down. No, it was third down. Third down and 8. And then the Rams got 3 first downs in a row. The call benefited us. That's why many of us looked the other way. But no, looking back on it, 2018 non-PI was a missed call. Yeah, it was totally a missed call. It was a terrible call, Yeet. Yeet. What a name. Yeet Eli Deet. Yeet Eli Deet. I don't know how you pronounce that name. You got a cow as your profile picture, though. That's You're an interesting person. I haven't seen you in the chat before, so if you're new to the channel, welcome. And feel free to subscribe. If you're not new to the channel, then I'm sorry I haven't seen your name before. But like, I like all that. I just want to point that out. So what are you, a Rams fan then? No, looking back at it, the 2018 non-PI was a missed call. It was. And I don't think anybody argues that it was a missed call. And actually, Mikey, there you go. There's a Rams fan telling you that he agrees with you. So, maybe you've just been talking to the wrong Rams fans. But no, that's the Super Bowl was the wrong call, 100%. Super Bowl, and the implications were worse, I watched the Fail Mary. Looked like he did have the ball, and then his foot touched down with the body. No, it didn't. Like he initially had the ball, but by the time his foot gets down, the Packers have control of that ball. And perhaps that's what the replacement refs were thinking. They were thinking, oh well, he clearly had control at the beginning, and then the play's over, so it's a touchdown. But the problem is that doesn't count until he actually touches the ground. And by the time he touched the ground, the Packers were more in control of that ball than the Seahawks were. So that's the way that's the way it was. You die on your hill, I'll die on mine. You die on your hill all you want. I'm just telling you you're wrong. I'm telling you you're totally wrong. Vote is 40%, 0%, 0%, 60% for other. Wow. Dude, okay, so whoever is voting for other, you vote how you want. It's fine. But like, if you're going to vote for other, please tell me who else. Scoreboard is behind. Yeah, sorry. Hold on. What are we at? 31 now? Is that right? 31-7. Yep. My bad. I've been getting caught up in arguing. We're in the middle of a blowout, so it's just kind of who cares at this point anyway, I guess. But like, so 2 people have voted for other. If you're, like I said, if you're gonna say other, please tell me what other. Like, you're gonna tell me if you're gonna vote other, please tell me why. Like what other play? I'm curious. Maybe there is a worse one. Wow, one Ram fan with common sense, but I understand your comments. I'm telling you you're wrong. Nope, wrong. You're wrong, Mikey. I'm sorry. You're wrong. You're allowed to be wrong, but you're wrong. Bills kneel on it. Game over. All right. The Broncos continue the uselessness of a 7th seed. Lose 31-7. What a joke. What a joke that 7 seeds even exist. And you know what? I think the one team that probably would have not done that is probably the Bengals. Bengals were getting hot. Bengals were finally heating up. And Lou Anarumo had apparently finally figured something out that made the defense competent. So, Joe Burrow was on a tear. Should have been the Bengals, is all I'm saying. Look, freaking Steelers get just embarrassed against the Ravens. Broncos get absolutely destroyed by the Bills in the first round. Are you telling me it wouldn't have been better? All 3 of the division winners win, by the way. All 3 wildcard teams eliminated. But you telling me it wouldn't have been better to have Joe Burrow in these playoffs? But no, you wanted to have Bo Nix, who just gets absolutely crushed, completely inexperienced, and then you have Russell Wilson, who's been washed, and a Steelers team that hasn't played like anything matters for weeks. Just a joke. It's just a joke. But I will say, I'm not. The Bengals did it to themselves, to be absolutely clear. The Bengals just do better earlier in the season. It's their own damn fault they missed the playoffs. But from the NFL's perspective, like, what a joke. From a neutrality perspective, what a joke that you ended up with, 3 blowouts in the wild card round when you could have had the Bengals probably taking the Bills pretty close and maybe beating them. Like, and the reason I say that is because we always beat the Bills. Like, Joe Burrow, obviously Josh Allen is having a more overall successful season as far as his team success goes, but Joe Burrow is a better quarterback than Josh Allen, and that's the reason I think primarily why the Bengals tend to have their number. I don't think Joe Burrow's lost to Josh Allen yet. So are you telling me that this is better? This bullshit, this 31-7 bullshit. The Bengals would have been so much better. But whatever, man. Whatever. It's our own fault. I'm not mad at the NFL for being fair. I'm just saying this sucks. And it doesn't just suck for me. It sucks for everybody. Unless you're a Bills fan, unless you're a Chiefs fan, unless you're a Ravens fan, unless you're a Bengals fan. No, if you're a Bengals fan. Hold on. Who are the teams that made it? Why am I having trouble remembering the teams? Okay, so by the way, that sets it's going to be Ravens, Bills next week, and then it's going to be Texans, Chiefs. Texans, I think, is who I'm thinking about. So for as far as the Bengals missing the playoffs goes, that sucks for everybody, unless I guess one of 5 people, right? It sucks for everybody unless you're a Bills fan, unless you're a Ravens fan, unless you're a Chiefs fan, unless you're a Texans fan, or if you're a Bengals hater. Those 5 people, five groups of people, are people who obviously are happy that the Bengals didn't make the playoffs. But for everybody else on the entire planet, boy, what it just sucks that you got that instead. You could have had Joe Burrow versus Josh Allen, but you got Bo Nix losing 31-7. What a useless game, dude. Packers had the ball. Exactly. It's ridiculous. The Jesse James. Are you one of the ones who said otherwise? The Jesse James no catch. Well, frankly, I don't give a shit about Jesse James. The Steelers can get over themselves because they've been benefiting from bad calls for years. So I don't really care. But you might be right. Hold on, let me go back. Controversial catch reversal looms large. Game-winning touchdown gets called back. What the hell? That got called back? Okay, he's not touched, goes down to a knee, but he's not giving himself up, and the ball goes across the line. What? Okay, okay. All right, Yeet. I might give you that one. Whew. That's pretty bad. I mean, like, I also don't care because the Steelers can get over themselves, but that's pretty bad. That's pretty. That might be the worst one, honestly. I know that might be worse than the Fail Mary. Honestly, that's just a lack of it's got to be a lack of understanding about the rules. Like, and those aren't replacement refs either. So you might be right. That might be the worst call I've ever seen. That's bad. I remember that play happening, and I don't remember how bad that was. Like, going back and looking at it, yeah, you're right. I changed my vote. I'm changing my vote. Can I change my vote? Well, I can because I run the channel. I can do whatever the fuck I want. So I'm changing my vote to that. Instead of, I'm taking my one vote of the Fail Mary away and I'm giving it to the Jesse James no call catch, which at the very least makes it tied with the Saints thing, Mikey. Just saying. Just saying. All right. I'm going to catch up with these comments, probably head out. Packers will win today. No, they won't. They're gonna lose. The Eagles are gonna crush them, I think. Jesse James, I remember the name, tight end, right? Don't remember the call. Interesting. Yeah, he was a tight end for the Steelers for a few years, and he catches the ball against the Patriots. The Steelers have a lead with like 40 seconds left in the game. You know, a 3-point lead. I don't even remember that game. What year was that? 2018. Steelers, Patriots, 2018. Well, it can't be this game. What am I looking for? Oh, maybe it was 2017. Why am I not able to find this game, dude? Oh, and it was called a touchdown on the field? Holy crap. Yeah, that's bad. That's so bad. Wait, so what was the rule? Apparently it has something to do. It wasn't no famous play. Steelers center Marcus Pouncey told ESPN on Thursday. It didn't happen. The play never happened. It was a practice play. That shit don't even matter. They changed the rule. So we can't even talk about that anymore because the play is a no catch with an old rule. So I guess it must have been an old rule then. So if it was actually a rule at the time, let's see. I might make a video about this. There's enough interest in the worst call in NFL history. I might just make a video like talking about what's the worst rule, the worst call in NFL history. So what's the rule then? What constitutes a catch may have been the tipping point, the play that rid the NFL of the handful of eye test fails that caused an outsized controversy each year. Your eyes told you it was a catch, but the rule left the officials with no choice but to rule incomplete. Okay, so I'd still want to know what the rule is, but it sounds, according to this article, it was actually the right call, even though it was a bullshit rule, and an obviously stupid rule. But that's not a bad call. If it is the right, if it is technically the right call according to the rule, then it's not the worst. It's not the worst call. It's actually just a correct call, and it's a terrible rule. It's a stupid rule, and it showed stupid things. But the call itself was right, as far as I can tell. Steelers 2017 season. Taking forever to figure this out. The game's over though. It's not like we have anything to watch. Yeah, this. Oh, they lost. Oh, I guess I was wrong. I thought the Steelers were ahead, but I guess they were behind, 24-27. So with like 30 seconds left. So to answer your question, John, with like 30 seconds left to go in the game, the Steelers, I guess, were behind, by 3 points, but they drove down the field, and wait a minute, what? No, this wasn't even the play. What? This isn't even the right game. What game is it? Dude, this is the stupidest thing. Why can't I find this game? Patriots 17-10. It wasn't that game, was it? No, because the score was 30-27 at the time, so was it like 2016 then? I'm just in the totally wrong season. Here, this will be an easier way. List of Patriots, Steelers, all-time games. Now I'll be able to figure it out that way. The Steelers scored 30. Patriots scored 27. So I'm looking for a game where the Steelers scored 30. Not the Fail Mary. We don't need to get on the Fail Mary. Oh, it was okay. It was called. Okay, so it was that 24-27 game then. It just didn't show up on ESPN. Was it like a different play in the game? Let's see. Pass. No, not Russell Wilson. Steelers. Where is that? Oh my god. Did I lose the... Sorry this is taking so long, guys. Here we go. December 17th, 2017. Patriots won 27-24 over the Steelers. What happened was the end of the game interception. I guess Roethlisberger must have. That's hilarious. So the drive actually ended on an interception. So Jesse James, Ben Roethlisberger throws a Schuster for 69 yards. Nice, but not nice. Okay, so here it is. First and goal at the New England 10. Roethlisberger throws to Jesse James for 10 yards, touchdown. Replay official reviewed the pass completion ruling and the play was reversed. And then Roethlisberger went on to throw an interception. The Patriots won the game, which is fucking hilarious. And I love that that happened to the Steelers, by the way. And as far as I can tell, it was the correct call. Why was it the correct call, though? James loses control of the football and the ball touches the ground prior to him regaining control. You sure? What? Hold on. Let me see that again. What? Okay, catch. I mean, I guess. Yeah, I mean, kind of. Like, I guess the question, again, then this is what constitutes a catch. Technically, he never made a full football move, and it was kind of in the process of coming down that the ball moves and isn't fully, totally, completely secured. And by the letter of the law in the NFL, that is the correct call. So therefore, as dumb as it was at the time, I'll admit that it was dumb, and the rule was dumb. And the rule is still kind of dumb, but that by the letter of the law, that is the correct call, and therefore is not the worst call in NFL history, and so I'm changing my vote now back to the Fail Mary. So, sorry, Mikey. We've got 7 votes now, and other is still winning by a lot. So I need other people to tell me what they think. If they're going to vote other, please tell me. With the implications, the Bengals Super Bowl Wilson call, and a vacuum Fail Mary by a tiny bit. Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's exactly my point, stranger. You know, like the Saints, the Saints thing was bad. It was terrible. But the worst ever? No, I don't think so. I think the Bengals one was the worst because the implications. If you're adding implications, and if you're not adding implications, it was the Fail Mary because it was just frankly egregious. Fine, I'll be honest. You might be right about the call. Well, again, I agree with you about the call itself. I just don't think it was the worst ever. Just watch the immaculate reception that looked like a hard hit, maybe a penalty. No. Okay, let me explain. Hold on. Not in the 70s. It wouldn't have been a penalty in the 70s. Hold on. I think what it was is let me. Yeah, you can't really tell. Go look at if you go look at like the actual the other end of that. You look at the GIF. Go find a GIF of Franco Harris actually doing that, right? So you can see here, Bradshaw rolls out right out of the pressure. He throws, and that's knocked away, which is totally legal in the NFL in the 70s. And then Franco Harris appears to catch it, and runs for a touchdown. However, if you see it from the other end, which I'm hoping that they're going to show in this, but I don't have a... It's an Instagram thing. So I'm hoping... Here we go. Here's another angle. Okay, so throw is up, and that is knocked away, and Franco Harris catches it. And you can't tell on the video, and that's the unfortunate thing. But there is video that exists out there. The ball hit the ground. Just barely. It tapped the ground, but it tapped the ground, and therefore was not a reception in the first place. That's why it was a bad call. You can't really tell on the replay, you can't really tell on the replay, and in the moment it probably was really, really hard to tell because it would have just been by the barest of margins. But if you go back and look, it was the wrong call. And, considering the Immaculate Reception's legendary status, the implications for that are pretty severe. And it was when was it? It was a walk-off touchdown too. It was in the divisional round of the playoffs, so implications wise takes a little bit of hit for that. But it's also a legendary play that is still talked about in NFL circles to this day and is in the NFL Hall of Fame and everything like that. So the implications, go back up because of that. But I'm not trying to argue that the Immaculate Reception is the worst call in NFL history. I just think that it's part of the discussion, right? But it's just like what I'm saying with the Saints PI call. I can imagine how refs, and it's like without the ability to review that play, which you couldn't because there wasn't really a good angle showing it as far as the footage in the game goes. But later on, you can do your research and figure out that ball hit the ground. I think even Franco Harris might have later, like years later, might have admitted it hit the ground. It was kind of like a haha, we got away with that type of thing. But the Steelers ended up winning a Super Bowl that year, so it would have taken away one of Terry Bradshaw's 4 Super Bowls. But it's kind of, the argument still remains though as far as the thing goes. Kind of a difficult judgment call to make in the moment because it would have been so close and it would have been so fast, hard for refs to see. And if you're not able to review it, like the Saints weren't able to review, or the refs weren't able to review the lack of PI call in that game, then I think at that point, I think at that point you can't say the Immaculate Reception was the worst call in NFL history. It's definitely my least favorite one because the Steelers ended up getting the Super Bowl, but it's not the worst because it's hard to it would have been really hard for the refs to overturn that in the moment, and you can totally see how in the moment they might have not seen the ball touch the ground a little bit, right? I know you don't like the Steelers, but I believe that Justin Fields would have led a comeback drive. I still say Chicago should have stuck with Justin Fields one. No, that's not true, Mark. Maybe if Justin Fields was playing the whole game, it would have been better than Russell Wilson, and maybe they would have beaten the Ravens then. But the Steelers were down 2 scores. Like, there's no drive. There's no comeback drive to lead. A defensive penalty wouldn't have mattered. Oh, that Jesse James play. Yeah, it's not about penalties. It's about the rule. That was about the rule. It wasn't about the call. The call was the correct call. It was just a bad rule. That's what it was with the Steelers in 2018. Once you come across the plane, it's a touchdown, so the ball coming out should not have mattered after that. Yes, but the way the rules were at the time, John, was that if you don't control the ball to the ground fully and completely, and the way it was written at the time, then it's not a touchdown. And The one thing you can argue is that, because it was ruled a touchdown on the field, you're reaching a little bit to overturn that call because it's kind of like one smooth motion. You can make the argument that he never really makes a football move, but you're kind of grasping at straws a little bit there, and so then to overturn it is pretty bad. So I'll still say that was a pretty bad call, but definitely not among the worst, just because according to the letter of the law, they made the right decision. Or at least you can make a really strong argument that they made the right decision. And that's why it's just not the worst. Is extending the ball a football move? He did have a knee down too. Yeah, but it doesn't matter if he had a knee down. It's the issue is that when the ball hit the ground, it kind of bobbled. He wasn't fully in complete secure control of the ball, and the ball moved when it hit the ground. So that you have to be clearly in control of the ball when you hit the ground, and that's what they were arguing he didn't do, regardless of whether he crossed the plane or not. As far as as far as the football move, I would sort of. It was all one fluid motion, so I think that's why they argued that it wasn't necessarily a football move, because he was, his momentum was clearly carrying him into the end zone. So the extension of the ball was. You could make the argument that he never really fully controlled that ball through the extension, and so by the time he secured the ball, after that point he didn't make a football move. You could argue that the extension itself was not controlling the ball because it was part of this whole motion, and I think that's the argument they made at the time, which was the correct argument for the way that the rule was worded at the time. It was the correct argument. And it sucks for the Steelers. Doesn't suck for me. I thought it was pretty cool. But it sucks for the Steelers. But it is what it is, that's just what the rules were at the time. And they changed the rules after that because they were stupid rules. But it is what it is, My choice was Brandon Marsh taunting in 21. Again, Mark. That's just the way the rules were. It was stupid. It was stupid, and the taunting rules are still stupid. They haven't changed the taunting rules, but it was taunting. So they're technically a correct call. And as far as the argument we're having right now, how was that taunting? How was that even taunting? Well, technically, it was a form of taunting. Which is why the rule is stupid. If you're gonna make a taunting rule, you gotta specify, because otherwise refs just have the discretion to do whatever they want there, right? And then you end up with stuff like that. It's a problem with the rule more than it's a problem with the call. He was just looking at the guy, so I was looking at a guy taunting, because he was clearly posing is what he was doing, and it's again stupid rule, ridiculously stupid rule. Needs to at the very least be clarified. If not, I would get rid of it entirely, but at the very least needs to be clarified, and you need to have more specific, this is what taunting is, this isn't what taunting is. Because I think everybody agrees that was a stupid, calling that taunting and saying that that's a problem and unsportsmanlike and whatever is stupid. But again, according to the interpretation of the rule, technically yes. Stupid. But technically accurate, at least more accurate than some of these other calls we're talking about. But again, I might make a whole video about this because this is interesting. This game's well over though, and I think the next game's about to start. I think. Do we have a 4:30 game to get? Yeah, we do. So Packers Eagles. So I'll go ahead and hop off. Real quick, I'll give you my prediction. I think the Eagles are gonna win. That was fast. Score. I don't even know. I have to look up these two teams to give you do my normal research to tell you what I think the score is going to be. Packers lately have been scoring roughly in the 20-30 point range. So good offense so far, but also Jordan Love, Christian Watson got banged up recently, and I'm not sure what's going to go on with that. Eagles, little up and down, but their defense has been playing pretty well. So I'm guessing this is probably not going to be a blowout like the Broncos game, but I still think the Eagles are probably going to win by like 14 or something. So let's say 31 to let's say 31-21. 31-21 Eagles. That's my prediction. Okay, Jordan Love is active today. Mark said, "Oh, I thought you said probable." Yeah, Jordan Love's playing. Yeah, but he still got hurt, so I don't know how that's going to affect him. Christian Watson isn't playing though, right? That could be a big problem. Yeah, Christian Watson. He's out, right? Let me check Twitter real quick. Christian Watson being out's big. Like, I mean, the Eagles got Jalen Hurts and A.J. Brown, guys. Oh, yeah, Christian Watson tore his ACL. So, yeah, I think it's going to be tough for the Packers. I really do. Agree with Stranger. What did Stranger say? Yeah, that was my entire argument. The ref hip checked Marsh as he was throwing the flag. Yeah, because the refs are on a power trip. That's the whole problem with rules like that. They've been without Christian Watson for most of the year. Oh, well, wait. Okay, so who am I thinking of then? Somebody got hurt against the Bills. Like it was Jordan Love and somebody else. Who am I thinking of? I really am gonna get off here in a second, guys. But y'all keep giving me interesting things to talk about. It was Jordan Love and somebody else got hurt against the Bears, like near the end of the game, right? Or maybe it was in the second half. I don't know. Christian Watson. Yeah, Christian Watson got hurt. I thought so. Yeah, they've been out without Watson most of the year, but he came back and then he tore his ACL. So Watson's like out. Well, Watson's out. They rushed him back because Romeo Doubs was out with illness. Yeah, they probably shouldn't have rushed him back, but I mean they needed him for this week, so maybe they thought that by getting him in there they warm him up a little bit in a meaningless game. And then get him, ready to go for the wild card game. And if that was what they did, then it clearly backfired. So, anyway, that's it for me, y'all. What a shame that this is what we got instead of Joe Burrow versus Josh Allen. That's all I'm saying. All I'm saying. You could have had Joe Burrow, but you got Bo Nix. Stupid ass NFL. But stupid ass Bengals, it's their own fault. Like I said, division winners might lose home games. Well, they won all of their. You mean in the NFC, Mikey? That's possible. But in the AFC, all the division winners won. So for what that's worth. But anyway, I'm gonna head out of here, y'all. Appreciate you showing up, and hopefully the Bengals be back in it next year. I will. I will be. I'll be streaming next week for sure. I don't think I'm going to stream another game this week. Let me see. What's the schedule looking like right now? Today. Okay, so you got Packers Eagles coming up. You got Commanders Buccaneers tonight, and then tomorrow you got Vikings Rams. And I'm just not. If I was going to stream any of these games, it'd probably be like, I don't know if I care about any of them, honestly. Maybe honestly just because like John and Mikey both don't like the Rams, and Jim does like the Vikings. That Rams Vikings might be semi-relevant to the channel. So I might have done that, but I'm not gonna stream this week anymore this week anyway. Next week, I will probably stream Ravens Bills. Might stream Texans Chiefs, maybe. I don't know if I really have the stomach for it though. And then maybe an NFC game. I don't know. If it's Lions Vikings, I might stream that, but I don't know. To be determined on my schedule next week, but almost certainly going to be streaming Ravens Bills. So look forward to that. But anyway, I appreciate y'all showing up. I'll leave y'all as always with a hootie.